It's Friday night on 3 and now we're pitch side for Rugby League, the Super League playoff.
Good evening, we are down to the final 6 in the Betfred Super League. Tonight the playoffs get underway and we've got a clash between two of the most entertaining teams in the competition. It's Lancashire versus Yorkshire as Leigh play host to Wakefield. From now on in, it is knockout rugby league. The Super League playoffs get underway with the meeting of two of the re-emerging forces in the game. It's hard to believe that just 3 years ago Leigh were playing in the second tier. But after that dramatic Challenge Cup final win in 2023, they've consolidated into one of Super League's most consistent and entertaining teams.
Lachlan Lamb is a Leigh legend!
Last year they made it all the way to the playoff semi-finals before eventually falling to the champions, Wigan.
What a snap! What a try! Brilliant!
This season they set the tone with a dramatic opening night win at Wigan.
Leigh fans reach for the skies!
More wins against some of the biggest teams followed and earned them their highest ever league finish. Now the Leopards enter the playoffs as genuine grand final contenders. But to earn a semi-final spot, they'll have to overcome the surprise package in Super League this season, Wakefield Trinity. Back in the top flight this year, Trinity have shown they can mix it with the best.
And that is a try of pure genius!
And could this be a redemption story for Darryl Powell? After a disappointing 2 years with Warrington, he's rebuilt Wakefield in his own image and is now looking to emulate his own fairy tale run to the grand final with Castleford back in 2017.
They love it! They love it! Look, Gale has won it!
An entertaining, attacking game propelled Trinity to 6th in Super League. Now in the playoffs, they have nothing to fear. So can Wakefield tame the Leopards in their own lair, or will the remarkable rise of Leigh continue? It is Leigh Leopards versus Wakefield Trinity in the eliminator round of the Super League playoffs. Kickoff is less than 30 minutes away. Well, joining us here we have got Kevin Brown and Ryan Briley, who had 3 spells here at Leigh, and they know how to put on a party. We've got Elvis, we've had foam, we've got smoke machines either side of us, so if we disappear in a haze of smoke, it's cracking, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You expect nothing less from Derek Beaumont, do you? So no, but I'm really happy for him. The way they built their atmosphere and their roster over the last 3 years has been pretty special. I think what they did right, especially what Wakefield probably copied that blueprint, is essentially build almost a playoff side whilst in Championship. They were ready-made, ready to go. They were used to winning. They built a lot of momentum off the back of that Championship. So essentially what Wakefield have also built on the back of it, probably a couple of years behind Leigh at the moment, but listen, they're the same pitch tonight, aren't they? 3rd v6, so in for a cracker.
Is it the blueprint for a team coming up, what Leigh did and what Wakefield have now done?
It seems to be at the minute, doesn't it? I think when you go into the Championship, you've got time to recruit, you get momentum, you get confidence, you can see the backing. The Wakefield fans are really invested as well, so you get a chance to build everything, don't you, at your own pace. But for what Darryl Powell's done with this side, he's not only made them a competitive side, he's made them a side that could beat everyone in the competition, and I wouldn't be surprised tonight if Wakefield win or went on and played in the grand final, Tanya.
And for Leigh, they've had to have a rebuild this season. Were you surprised how quickly Adrian Lamb gelled a new side?
No, not at all. I think Adrian Lamb's one of the best coaches in the division. I think what they had to do is make sure they became almost equal in
We've lost you in haze.
They become less left side dominant with losing John Asiata, and obviously Kyle O'Donnell was a big loss for them. And I just think that the remarkable rise of Myla Hanley, Keenan Brandon, and the ability for Lachlan to swing both sides of the field and become a threat was a massive plus for the Leigh side this season.
And both sides have got some real star players, haven't they?
Oh, there's star quality all over the field, and what I love is attack. I love watching attack. When I played, I love playing attack. We've got some of the best attacking-minded coaches and some of the best attacking-minded players. So what I do know tonight, we're going to be entertained. We're going to be entertained before the game with the bubbles and the smoke, and then on the field, it's whet our appetite for these superstars.
And Lachlan Lamb is going to be a talking point in our build-up. I mean, he's going to be the one that Wakefield have to stop, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. And I think for me, Lachlan, in regards to helping this Leigh side become a top 3, top 2 side, I think he had to become Leigh's best player this season, and I think he's done that. I think he had a lot of help off Johnny Aseata, Matt Moylan last season, Kyle O'Donnell, but I just think this season, for Leigh to hit the heights they have done, he had to be Leigh's best player, and he's certainly done that. And how he's done that, and he's evolved his game to become less left side dominant and become more right side swinging both sides of the field. And obviously it shows with his 41 try assists, doesn't it, Kev? I think that he's pretty special. He's to come up with that many try assists in a season. Yeah, it's pretty special.
Well, before we bring Daryl Powell in to join us, can you take us through the Wakefield team that he's picked this evening, Kevin?
Yeah, no problem, Tanya. So straight away at fullback, we've got to change. Max Jowett's out because he's got a concussion, but an exciting player comes in Josh Rourke. They've got littered with so much speed and athleticism in the back line, and Oliver Pratt and Tom Johnson sum that up. But in the half-backs, that's where the battle will be won tonight. Truman against Lockie Lamb will be fantastic, but Mason Leno's a great deputy as well. In the front row, you've got the superb captain Mike McMeekin. I think he's been a sensational buy for Daryl Powell and his team, but Kayas Fartili and Liam Hood have backed him up very well as well. So terrific side on the paddock tonight.
Well, Daryl Powell has joined us. Daryl, it's lovely to see you. And how excited are you to be here with your Wakefield team?
Oh, yeah, it's a great opportunity for us. I think not much pressure on us. Awesome atmosphere, well supported.
And I'm glad to see that Tom Johnson can catch.
Yeah, I think Mason's doing that on purpose, trying to be as accurate and hit me on the head, I think. But yeah, look, it's a great opportunity for us. I think it's an awesome setting tonight. Boys are ready. We know that Leigh are going to play well, so we know we need to be outstanding.
Now, I must ask you, because the last time that we chatted to you was at Wakefield. It was a very special day, as you highlighted the candlelighters. Just, you've been helping you and the family because your grandson was going through it with leukemia, but there's been great news.
Yeah, so a couple of weeks back he rang the bell as being cancer-free. Obviously he's still got a tough road ahead, but Clark is charging about at the minute. I'll see him on Sunday and he'll give me a hard time. So smiling everywhere, just thanks to the whole Rugby League community for the support they've given to our family.
And how has it brought this team and the club together, do you think?
Well, the stories across everybody, you know, not just myself, just everybody really, the players that have come in, some of the players that are leaving, the stories everywhere you look. Some of them are a little bit more emotive than others, but I just think that we're building a great club. You know, we started last year, Matt bought the club, and we've grown through the championship. We've competed really well. I mean, we've lost 6 games by less than 4 points and 7 by less than 6, so we've been super competitive. Need to be that tonight. You know, it's a big night for us. But again, I keep saying, I think the pressure's on Leigh. They've got all this going on. You know, they've got to win tonight. For us, we just go and we just play the way that we play. We feel like we can come down the right side of the scoreline if we do what we do best.
Darryl, before the season, success probably top 6 is success, but now you're here. Is it almost a free hit and a bonus with whatever you do now?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, we talked about it, top 8 would probably be all right. You know, top 6 would be an outstanding achievement. But yeah, when you're here, you know, you're not going into a rugby league game thinking you're going to, you know, come out the other side on the losing side. I think we want to win. We're all winners. We want to do well tonight. So it's a great opportunity for us. You know, we feel we beat OKR, you know, a couple of weeks back. We feel like we can beat anybody. We're playing the way that we play. I said to the boys before, you've all got to play well tonight, boys. And I think if we do that, then I think we're a challenge for everybody.
So talk to me about the opposition. I know you're an attacking-minded coach and your team attack as good as anyone. What's it going to take to shut down Lachlan Lamb?
Yeah, well, it's a challenge, isn't he? I think they're a strong team all round. I think they've recruited really well. Lachlan Lamb's outstanding. You know, he's more try assists than anybody else this year. So he's a real threat. He's both sides of the field, so you can't just deal with a locked-in half-back. But I think the pack's great. You know, I think they've got speed. Papa's is a real threat. Wherever you look, I think Bailey Hodgson at the back's been a revelation. You know, with Armstrong dropping out. I don't think you can just look at one. You talk about attacking. I was always known as a defender, so you know, for me, it's both sides of the game. We talk about it all the time. We want to attack in a certain way. We want to defend in a certain way as well. So, you know, that's the growth of our game, is to make sure that we're exactly where we need to be tonight. And I don't think we can attack our way to this. I think we've got to defend really well as well.
Well, I'm going to flip back to your attack, Darryl, because that's all I wanted to do. So I think for me, I think you're the best attacking team in the competition by far. I love the way you shape up, your detail especially in driving really deep into the line. I think your detail is pretty special. With it being a playoff game, obviously naturally games become a little bit more cautious. Probably rucks become a little bit slower, and you probably might not have as much opportunity. Are you going to approach the game the exact same way, or will there be certain changes you'll probably make in regards to being a playoff game?
Yeah, there's always little bits, isn't there? You know, it's going to be intense tonight, and there's going to be a little bit of nervousness out there from the start. So, but you've got to bet into a game. But I don't think you can change your DNA. You know, it is what it is. I think, you know, we played Wigan the fair few weeks back, and we got pushed in the touch about 3 or 4 times, and we don't want that to happen. So you've got to balance it out and be direct when you need to be direct. But you know, we want to play as well when the time's right, and it's all about decision making. If we get that right tonight, then we know it'll be a challenge. But to be honest, you know, watching Leigh attack, and they've been outstanding this year. So defensively, we've got to be bang at it tonight.
How important is your captain, Mike McMeekin? He does big minutes for you.
Yeah, he's a special player. Not just a special player, but person, leader. You know, all those things that. You know, I coached him as a young kid, and you know, he's a little bit unsure of himself coming onto the scene. You see him now as pretty much the full package. You know, we brought him in, and he's been unbelievable this year. He's hardly missed a beat, doesn't miss a training session. He's missed a couple of games, but that's been it. Yeah, he's been superb for us this year.
Darryl, thanks so much for joining us. Go well. Well, let us hear from the Wakefield captain, Mike McMeekin. He's been talking to Robbie Hunter-Paul.
Mike, let's talk about it. 12 months ago, Wakefield Trinity in the championship. 12 months on, you're now in the playoffs. What's the feeling in the team?
Yeah, really good. Like you say, 12 months ago, playing in championship, doing really well there, and then fast forward 12 months and we're in the playoffs and giving ourselves a chance to go on to Old Trafford.
Now, personally, you've hit the ground running this season. You've come in as a big signing. You are one of their stalwarts in the middle of the park, holding that, and you've played that way. How happy have you been with your own form this year?
Yeah, I've been happy with it. You know, it's a team sport, so the boys around me have obviously helped that as well, because I think a lot of them have been top class this year, and you know, it helps when everyone around you is playing well as well.
Now you're coming up against a team that's been there over the last couple of years. They finished third in the competition. What sort of challenges Leigh Leopards going to offer you tonight?
Yeah, they're a really good side, and you know, they're a good side to watch as well. You see what they've done over the last few years, how successful they've been. It's kind of a bit of a blueprint for what we want to do. The style that they play, you know, it's really good attacking wise and then structured defensively. So tonight we know it's going to be a tough task to break them down, but we know any opportunities that we get, we have to take them.
Now it's going to be a bit of a silly question. Top 6, is that enough for Wakefield Trinity?
We obviously, like I say, we've given ourselves, we've put ourselves in a situation now where we give ourselves a chance to go on to Old Trafford. So you know, we'll take it 80 minutes at a time. It's going to be a tough game tonight, but hopefully we can go on.
All the very best. Good luck.
Thank you. Cheers.
Let's just confirm how the Super League finished and how we're set up for the playoffs. Hull KR claimed their first League Leaders Shield. Last year's champion Wigan finished second. Third place is Leigh's highest ever league finish, while Wakefield picked Hull FC to the final playoff place. So here's how the playoffs are shaping up. Week 1 is the eliminator round, with Leigh hosting the lowest ranked team, Wakefield, here this evening. Tomorrow, Leeds, who finished 4th, play St Helens. Next week at the semi-final stage, the top 2 enter the playoffs, with Wigan hosting the highest ranked team that progresses from the eliminator round, and Hull KR playing the lowest ranked team left in. We'll be in Hull next Saturday evening for live coverage of that semi-final on BBC 2. Then it all gets a whole lot simpler as both semi-final winners face off at Old Trafford on October the 11th in the Super League Grand Final. There'll be live commentary of that match on BBC Sounds and highlights the following day on BBC 2. So, gentlemen, and Kevin, you can go first. Who are going to be the 2 teams at Old Trafford, and who's going to lift the trophy?
Tanya, I think that's the hardest question you've ever asked me. I think especially this year.
Oh, I'll work on it.
The top 6 are they're so close, and you can find an argument for everyone. I think the safe bet is Wigan and Hull KR, just because they've been the most consistent. But either of these teams we're watching tonight, I would not be surprised to see them lifting the Super League trophy.
Your turn.
Yeah, I'm the same as Kev. Probably sitting on the fence a little bit with the top two consistent. I think there's a very, I suppose, tightness around probably first to fourth, if I'm honest. I think there's a very similarity that they all defend tough, so that probably wins you big games. I think for me, Wigan have got something else, what no one else has got, and that's Bevan French. I just think when Bevan French plays well, Wigan win, and in big games, Bevan French normally turns it on. So I just think when it comes to a big game, Wigan win.
We will see if you were right come October the 11th. Let's come back to tonight's game. Can you take us through the Leigh team that Adrian Lamb has picked, right?
Yeah, they've got obviously Bailey Hodgson at fullback. I think he himself wouldn't have envisaged how much game time he's probably accrued this year with also the loss of David Armstrong through a serious knee injury. So I think it's been a special year for him. I think can't look past the Myler Hanley, fresh off his dream team selection, which is well deserved. I think he's been probably a pinnacle for Leigh's right edge this season, which had to be. I think Lachlan Lamb at scrum half. I think 41 try assist speaks for himself. He's Leigh's best player by far. I think Owen Trout is in his probably career best form in the back row tonight. I think he's probably evolved and matured as a top Super League player now, and probably pushing towards England honours. And again, no further than Edwin Apape, who's pure box office for me. I just think he's one of the best nines in the competition, and especially come playoff time, the field's a little bit wetter and a little bit more moody. That you'll certainly see some box office hits from him certainly today.
Well, let's hear from the father and son team who are at the heart of this Leigh squad. They've been talking to Robbie Hunter-Paul.
Now, what a blessing. I have with me none other than the dynamic duo of the Leigh Leopards. We've got the head coach and the star, Adrian and Lachlan Lamb. And look, I just got to start off by saying congratulations are in order. We've got a brand new grandfather and a brand new father. Talk to me. First, I'll start with you, Lachlan. Talk to me. The emotions of being a brand new dad, this massive game, are they conflicted, or do you think it's giving you some perspective?
It's definitely given me some perspective. I've enjoyed every minute though. It's been 2 or 3 weeks now, so I'm slowly getting used to it and working it in with the training schedule and the game. So yeah, we've sort of looked after that pretty well now. We're just looking forward to the game.
Adrian, a grandfather, congratulations.
Thank you. Yep, very proud.
Are you having to pass on the tips?
Yeah, a little bit. That's what granddads do, you know, but very emotional about it, obviously, being the first one for me. Little baby girl, Leigh, so to lock in Fiona. But yeah, it just makes my heart skip a beat when that little one's around.
Now, you've managed a career and playing at the same time, but a career playing and then having children, having a family to manage as well. Are those tips coming through?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's hard work, you know, especially when the baby's newborn and very new, but it's finals time as well, so we've had a conversation about making sure that they balance that out, and, you know, I think so far so good.
Now, did that get you into trouble at home, Lachlan? In rugby first, what comes first?
Honestly, my partner Fiona's been unreal. She's done all the hard stuff for me at the moment. She understands that it's tough to do both from my end of it, so I just help out wherever I can, mate. And she's smashing it at the moment.
As the on-field leader, as the halfback, everything revolves around you. Let's talk rugby league. What's going to be your challenge today, unlocking this Wakefield defence?
They got a big pack, Wakey, so we got to turn up and not miss a start. I think we're coming here to be physical and get our game on the way we want to play. I think the style and the team who we want to be and who we've been building to be all year is enough to get it done tonight.
Now, you've got experience on your side. You've been in the playoffs before. Does that help?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've got people in our team who have won the grand final as well, so we've got experience from, you know, little to the most you can get. So I think those leaders throughout the week and throughout the finals campaign have really given their tips and their insights over to the boys who aren't so experienced, and I definitely think that's helped balance the group out.
Adrian, 12 months ago there was a lot of talk about the amount of stars that were leaving the Leopards last year and how you guys were going to struggle this year. You've actually blown that out the water, haven't you?
Yeah, that happens every year that we make the changes. I think first year in there was 13 changes and then 12, and there'll be probably a handful of them again at the end of this year. But, you know, we've got a goal in mind, a 5-year goal in mind, and there's a direct path that I know I want to be on as a coach and what the team looks like. So we've had to stick to that regardless of how difficult it's been. you form relationships with those players, those experienced players that end up going. But I think we're in a pretty good place at the moment, and you know, with 12 new faces in the team, it can only be better each year as we go along now. But you know, we've got an opportunity that we've never had here at the club before, finishing third, never had a home final in the history of the Super League. So there's a lot of things going on at the moment. You know, Derek, I know the atmosphere here will be buzzing tonight. It'll probably a chance of blowing up in some way with so many fireworks and whatnot. But I feel, you know, hopefully we can produce the fireworks on the field and as much as they are off.
Now, Trinity are a bit of a wild card in the respect of the playoffs. A lot of people wrote them off, didn't think. Now, if you're coming up against one of the bigger, more established teams, a lot of experience there, what can you expect from them tonight?
I think they've got nothing to lose, as it's been brought up a few times, but they're a good rugby team as well, you know, and they followed a similar path to what we did when we got promoted up from Championship in the Super League. They've had a whole 12 months in Championship getting their game right every single week. So I think they've earned the right to be here, and they're a big pack. They've got some great individuals there that can hurt you at any time, and they play connected as a group. And, you know, we've had troubles with them here at the start of the year, albeit 6 months ago. But, you know, I think it's more about us this week. You know, we can't really put too much focus on what they're about. It's about the DNA of us tonight and making sure that with the new team we have is getting these big games right. You know, we slipped up in the Challenge Cup semi-final, and that wasn't a good sign, but we've had time to grow together as a group. This is our next big game now, so it's time to make sure that we've got that right.
Lachlan, back to you. How do you make the players focus on one game at a time when you're 160 minutes away from a grand final?
I think we just got to make it. We have made it clear that it's you don't just get to go to the next week without earning it the one before. So it's one game at a time, and the way we train and play, and the way the staff have sort of put the week to us, it's very clear to us that we got to get through each 80 minutes at a time, and it starts here tonight versus Wakey.
Gentlemen, we wish you all the very best luck tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
It's a very special partnership that they have, don't they? And now grandfather and new father to boot.
Yeah, it's not bad, and he mentioned the fact that there's a lot goes on the girl there, looking after it when it comes into the playoffs. So I'm not sure what the home life's like, but if it's anything, it'll be a rugby mad family.
And Lachlan Lamb is a very special player. You've already talked about him. Let's take a closer look at what is it that makes him so special.
I just think, especially his ability to evolve his game. I think the loss of Johnny Asiata was massive for him. So I think for Leigh to hit, I said it before, for Leigh to hit the heights they did this year, Lachlan Lamb had to be Leigh's best player for me. And I think for me, what's probably not spoke about is his offbeat. So he doesn't play with any sort of rhythm. He steps, he fends, he double pumps. So you can't really get a gauge him as a defender. You're trying to defend him, but because he doesn't play with the same rhythm, it's really hard to make a decision on him. Obviously, you'll know probably more than me, Kev, playing half. It's really difficult when you play with a certain tempo for defenders to defend against you.
Yeah, and I love this, just the patience to pick his pass. He does this over and over again, and he's got the perfect balance for me between structured approach and an off-the-cuff style. He can run the ball, and you know, we mentioned the father and son dynamic. I played with Adrian, and he was a little bit smaller, but he had a great running game. And the brain he's got, we see that he can step off both feet. That running game is what scares defences into opening his passing game up. When you play against Lachlan Lamb, he's got every bag of tricks to open the best defences. And what he does, he sometimes calls the ball away from himself. He's a real smart team player, and for me, probably the best scrum half in the competition.
And do you think he's developed as well in the last year and a half as a leader?
Yeah, for sure, and I think every scrum half has to be. I think he's certainly become more mature in his performances. Obviously, becoming a dad will probably help, for sure. But I think for me, like I said, he's become less left side dominant, and it had to be because that right side needed help from somewhere. And Lachlan Lamb stuck out himself and goes, you know what, I'll do it. I'll make sure I swing both sides of the field. And that's he's become up with 41 try assists, probably more on the right side of the field this season with the help of a miler. So I just think, I suppose, evolution of his game throughout the season has been a pleasure to watch.
Well, let's look at that right edge of Leigh, and Amila Hanley getting into the dream team. It's a fabulous story.
Yeah, it's a great pick. He was so close to giving the game away, Yamila, when he left Wigan. He nearly got the work boots on and went on a building site, and Adrian Lamb pulled him out of that. And Ryan's right, Lachlan Lamb has gone over to the right-hand side, but he's got some weapons over there now. You look at Yamila Hanley, he's full of athleticism, skill and strength, and so is the wing partnership with Keenan Braddon. When you see, sometimes the ball just goes out to him. I love this clip and this try. He's up against Ash Hanley here, Jamila Hanley. He gets the ball, and this will go down as a try assist. But look at this, bang, pace, power, and game over. And he makes Ash Hanley, who's one of the premium centres in the competition, look really average. What this combination does now is makes the left side even more dangerous as well. You cannot just put numbers on the left. You can't put your fullbacks on the left because they've got so much danger on the right, Ryan.
Yeah, for sure. They're a nightmare, especially the fullbacks to defend against in terms of which way you put your numbers, because they've got threats both sides. I think one thing we'll probably haven't touched on the mile is defensively, how good he is defensively, especially for fullbacks. When that ball goes in the air off Gaz O'Brien or Lachlan Lamb, he'll be first there, won't he?
It's effort in it,
yeah,
just pure effort.
Effort-based, obviously. And for me as a fullback, obviously a light fullback, his ability to jack you up and take meters off you. I think Josh Rourke, if he puts himself in a really awkward position, probably his corner kick we're talking about, isn't it, off the boot of Gaz O'Brien, he's in real danger of being jacked up and put through over the sideline. So again, we talk about Jamila Hanley's offence, but his defence is just as good.
Let's turn to Wakefield, and you've talked a lot about Daryl Powell's attacking style. What is it that makes it so special?
Well, it's every single person on the field, front rowers, back rowers, hookers, halfbacks have a job. The attack from wide shapes, so you just look at the amount of people in movement. Everyone's got a role to play, everyone's an option, which makes it so difficult for the opposition. I'm really interested tonight, if Wakefield can have the majority of the ball, because you need the majority of the ball to do this. You cannot just do this from defending, because these types of shape takes a lot of energy out here. So if they get a piece of the ball tonight, you just see every time there's a wave of numbers, it's so hard to defend, and the clinical nature of the spine, they're often picking the best people to pass to come up with points. And Jake Truman and Mason Leno, they're in a form that I've seen never before from these Wakefield pairing.
For me, it's the detail, as what Kev's speaking about there, in terms of people in motion, people in the right role. It's the detail, and one thing what probably we don't speak about as much is when you see a team shift the ball as much as they do, is the bravery it takes. For one, to pull the shape, to play the shape, but the detail in terms of Jake Truman, Mason Leno, to dig right into the line. And they're going to have to, because if you watch tonight, Leigh have a very up-and-out defensive structure where they want to push it towards the sideline. So if Mason Leno and Jake Truman don't dig in, that's what Daryl Powell alluded to, they'll get thrown over the sideline. So it's really important they stay brave, stay to the philosophy, and play the way they've played for 27 rounds.
Jake Truman's been a little bit in and out of the team with injury, but he's had a run, hasn't he? How have you seen Wakefield improve now? He's had a run in the team.
Jake Truman in any side makes the team better. I think what Jake Truman's held him back is just that he's not been on the field. When he's on the field, he's very similar to Lachlan Lamb. He can kick, he can run. He's a very strong halfback. He can run, but I love his vision. And the ball over the top that we see often, it's because of all these options that Daryl Powell has created. But the execution and the vision are aligned. If he sees something, he pulls it off. There's very few people and very few halfbacks that can take the line on and be so brave, be so strong, but also pick a pass or a kick when it needs to be, to produce so many points in the season. He's on 25 try assists for the season, and he's missed a lot of games. That's a staggering number, and I cannot wait for the battle between these two tonight, between Lachlan Lamb and Jake Truman.
Kev, you nailed it. I think the biggest thing for me with Jake Truman, he makes Wakefield better. And I think one thing what we need to speak about is probably his relationship with Daryl Powell. He seems to almost gravitate to him, doesn't he, wherever he goes. And when you have a trust from a coach, Kev will tell you, when your coach trusts you like that, it brings out a certain smile in your game, and almost I'm going to get drowned if I smoke.
I don't think I've had my own personal smoke machine, but I might ask for one wherever I go now. We've got the fireworks, the light show, the smoke machine. It's bouncing, it's cracking this, isn't it?
This is why it's the best sport in the world. It's entertainment before, and the fireworks there'll be nothing compared to the fireworks on the opening kick-off.
They make you really jumpy as well. And it's quite funny just watching your reaction to it. How different is it for the players as they're getting ready in the tunnel? That this is it. You lose, that's the end of your season.
Oh, the intensity is like never before. I remember playing in a playoff game a couple of years ago, and was at St Helens away, and the intensity the players rise to is something I've never witnessed, never felt before. So even now you feel it. There's a difference. There's a total different energy. Seeing the two teams come out of the tunnel now, it's going to be a firecracker. Can't wait.
And he's part of winning tonight, dealing with this.
Massively, dealing with the pressure, dealing with the emotion, and allowing the emotion to help you and produce a performance, but not overstepping the line. We've seen before in grand finals where a Ben Flower moment can change the course of history. they'll be hoping that they don't do that tonight, but they play right on the edge.
I'm not laughing at what you're saying, it's just the smoke that's wafting across. It's absolutely fantastic, this. There is the Super League trophy. That is what they both hope they will be lifting at Old Trafford in a couple of weeks' time. So who wins it tonight for you, Kev?
I think it's one of the closest competitions tonight, and I think just because of home advantage, I'll go with the Leopards, but this is going to be a sensational game.
Quick one, who wins it?
Yeah, Leigh for me.
OK, let's hand you up to our commentary team. Robbie Hunter-Paul is alongside Sharon Shortle.
Thanks, Tanya. Well, it's always a big atmosphere at Leigh, and tonight has got that added layer of it being knockout rugby league. A semi-final place is at stake for Leigh, who have managed their highest ever finish of third, and Wakefield, who are in the playoffs for the first time since 2012. You cannot beat nights like this, Robbie Hunter-Paul.
Oh, you certainly can, and I can't believe it. I'm just so excited. This is a small town. There's only 30,000 people in the town of Leigh. They're all here. The stadium's full of Leopards. Absolutely brilliant. The light show, the atmospherics, absolutely everything. So excited about this game. Absolute cracker it's going to be.
Well, both sets of fans have turned out in their numbers. A full home stand at the end of the field where Leigh are defending. Wakefield, more than 2,000 fans have made the trip across from West Yorkshire from this evening. Both sets of fans know what is at stake, and neither side will be giving an inch on that pitch tonight either.
Oh, they certainly won't, Sharon. Look, it's about setting the platform, it's about getting your nose forward, it's about taking some energy out of the opposition as the opening 10 minutes, not making any mistakes, getting into the arm wrestle and setting some platforms for your halves. The boys were right, yes, they've got the halfbacks on both teams have to play into the opposition's line. Oh, here's an opportunity.
Well, the charge down is made, and Wakefield almost managed to get back there, but O'Brien picks it up for Leigh, and Leigh regain possession somewhere in that smoke on the pitch.
Yeah, a bit of a get out of jail free card there by the Leopards. That ball needs to be cleared, I think. Some good work, some better platform, quick play the balls. Just getting caught up there. Good, that's good defense by Wakefield. Big, very strong, dominating the tackle, getting quick markers out of acting half and making sure that they put pressure on the kicker. More than that, they nearly come up with an attacking opportunity.
Well earned then in possession for the Leopards. Ipape, always busy at acting half. Edwin Ipape, not been in the side for the last couple of matches, back tonight, and he can really have such a huge impact for the home side. And there he goes from acting half, steps out of the defender almost, but Griffin just in there, hanging on to the feet. Lamb within the 20, on the last, the referee's arm is raised, taken beautifully there by the youngster Jaden Myers, leaping the highest and getting possession back for Trinity.
And that's got to be a pleasing sign for Adrian Lamb there. Edwin Ipape getting the ball and running out acting half in basically the first set of the game. The more he can run out in acting half, the more he'll tire out the opposition's middle of the park, the more dominant they can become defensively, just like we're seeing there.
Great defence from the Leopards, pushing Johnstone back to within the 10, and Wakefield now really have a bit of work to do to try and make some impact in this set. Leigh really pinning them back deep inside their own half as the tackle count goes down. Fartili is the next one to just make a couple of metres before that defence catches up with him. Ipape is down on the ground, I think just trying to stay out of the way more than anything sinister. There is a long kick, comes downfield, taken well by Bailey Hodgson, and the Leopards launch an attack again.
Yeah, incredible defensive set there by the Leopards, really putting a lot of pressure on the Wakefield attacking line, and this is what they want to do. They want to play the game in Wakefield's half of the field. Once they do that, they can really start putting on their play, start spreading the ball and taking the line on.
New playing the ball again to Lamb as the Leopards try and find a way up the centre of the field with Charnley. Wakefield really having to get numbers in around there to try and hold Leigh back, who just look like they're trying to pick the pace up already in these early stages of this game.
Well, they can sniff stuff, they can soak in the supporters. A lot of energy coming off the sideline there. They're going to have to manage their energy levels.
Bolton taking the pass from Lamb, taking Leigh to within 5 metres of the line. One more tackle left in this set. Ipape to Lamb. Here's the kick, it's high. Still smoky out on that pitch, and leaping high to take it are the Leopards, but going to be short on that, and that will be the handover. Hanley can't just quite get the distance.
Now in the opening plays of the game, this is a great place to start a defensive set. You're a couple of metres off the opposition line. They've done that twice in a row now, and that means your defensive line can get forward really aggressively and really strangle the opposition. And that's exactly what Leigh are doing at the moment.
A great start in defence for Leigh. Wakefield struggling at the moment in possession to try and get outside of their own 10 as it stands. And here's Griffin. But look at the numbers there around him in the Leopard shirts. So he'll play the ball to Hood. Hood and Griffin, incidentally, both leaving Trinity at the end of the season. For some players on this pitch tonight, it could be their final game in their club's colours. Whoever wins goes through. It's the end of the road, of course, for whoever loses tonight's match. So much at stake. So here we come with Lino, kicking long downfield. Numbers are back there for Leigh, and Hodgson again takes the ball cleanly and makes good meters as well.
And we're going to be really treated tonight because we've got two kickers, two world-class kickers on both teams, and Lachlan Lamb and Mason Lino. They can kick the ball long, and you know, by the looks of it in the opening sequences of this opening 10 minutes, the Leopards really have got their bit between the teeth and putting a lot of pressure on Wakefield. So Wake are going to depend on Mason Lino to get their ball long and make sure they can get some easy yardage.
Pape now from acting half. Great meters from the hooker. He looks lively already tonight, and he gets that ball away. O'Brien just settling it, giving it to New. Tries to go route one, straight up the middle of the field. He's causing problems for Trinity, who at the moment are really working hard in defence. Ipape, short ball along the line again, finds O'Brien. Griffin in there once more with Pitts with the tackle. But Leigh trying to turn the screw. One tackle left of the set. Ipape again, a short ball read by Wakefield Trinity, and again they get men in there and keep the line intact.
Absolutely interesting tactics there by the Leopards. Look, they're happy enough not to push a kick, but actually just start that defensive set a metre off the opposition line. They can squeeze that defence up, they can get through in numbers, they can make contact and make yardage after contact. They're just strangling Wakefield at the moment.
This could be so crucial as this game goes on. How hard Wakefield are having to work both in defence but in attack as well, just to try and gain some metres.
Oh, certainly, Sharon. You know, the tough thing is that at the end of the season, it's been a long season, emotional high by making the top six, and then coming down here, you just burn so much emotional juice preparing for these games because you know how big they are. Now it's about managing your energy levels.
So Wakefield again going through with Lino. A free hit, says coach Darryl Powell for Wakefield Trinity, their first playoff since 2012. As the kick comes downfield now, this time from Jake Truman. Again, clean as you like with the take, it's Hodgson. And he'll make it to almost his 40 before he's caught around the ankles by Pratt, who just does enough.
Now you could argue it's almost been the perfect opening 10 minutes for the Leopards, and we haven't even been 7 minutes yet. But they're playing the game in the right part of the field. This will tell in the final parts of this opening half. Energy levels will start to get sapped, and this plays a massive part in whether or not your forwards can get forward. You can set that platform, and then your backs can put on the try-scoring plays.
Well, we can see there the kicking out that's led to Matty Stoughton going off onto the bench early in this game. So a reshuffle already for Wakefield as Lamb tries to find a way through. And McMeekan, the captain, is there with the tackle. Ipape again on the last. The kick goes up from O'Brien. That is diffused in goal, Tom Johnstone. And again, Wakefield survive.
Well, you can see by Adrian's face there, he's let down by that play. I think they had the perfect game plan before. Look, let's do whatever we can to start the ball in our defensive set as close to the opposition try line as possible and keep the pressure on them. That's just released the pressure valve just that little bit.
Pratt looking for a quick play, the ball to Hood. He gets it and gets it to Griffin. Driven to the ground. Jaden Myers, the young winner, just catching up with players. The ball out on the opposite side of the field is taken by Pratt, and this feels for a while the furthest that Wakefield have been up this field, which says quite a lot for how Leigh have been playing so far in this game. So Wakefield try and give the ball there to Lino.
That's a good sign. When Mason Lino starts to take, the first thought is about taking the line on. That puts pressure on the opposition.
Truman with a short ball to Cam Scott, who eventually manages to shrug off Lamb. And Truman again going for a short kick to the corner, and again Myers is their highest, but he can't keep that ball alive and back in the arms of the Wakefield man. It's taken by Tessie New, but Wakefield first real attack and going close.
Lovely little chip there by Jake Truman, just pushing the ball into the corner, giving Leigh a little bit of their own medicine back to them, starting to set deep in their bottom right-hand corner, allowing their defence to get together and put some pressure on the Leopards now.
So Wakefield defending, but this time deep inside the Leigh half of the field. It's Leigh who have to work to try and gain the territory in this set. Sending the big men up the middle with Mulhern. Jaden Myers certainly coming into this side as this season has gone on and really making that shirt his own on the wing, as on the opposite side it's Tom Johnstone, from the youngster to the experience, and he has no fear as he takes that ball in and is met by the Leigh forwards. Lino again with a short ball to Myers. Formerly of Bradford Bulls, taking his chance in Super League, getting a 4-year extension, so certainly well rated by Wakefield Trinity. And Wakefield have come into this game a little. It's taken 10 minutes to really find a bit of a groove for them, but they've come into this game, Robbie.
Well, they certainly have. You know, they've been able to meet fire with fire. They're taking some opportunity now, but look, these are the things that kill you in playoff rugby. There's no next week. You've got to make sure that you complete your sets. You've just done 7 minutes of back-to-back defending. You've been coming off your own try line. You've got to complete these sets. Yes, take your opportunities when they come, but don't overplay, don't push passes.
Well, Josh Rourke coming into that line for Wakefield in the side this week in place of Max Jowett, who failed his head injury assessment early in last week's match in Super League against Salford, and that forced a reshuffle for Wakefield in that game, and it really did rattle them a little for the opening stages. It took a while for them to settle. They've settled quicker tonight, but it's Leigh again with the advantage now as Hanley goes, and he sends Brand away. And the first try of the game comes from that potent side of the Leigh attack, and it's the Leopards who take first blood in this eliminator.
And when we're talking about it, the toll that it takes, that much defense, having to run the ball out of your own 10-meter line time and time again, it just takes the energy. It means that when opportunities come for the Leopards, with the quality of player that they've got in their backyard, well, it just puts too much pressure. And there you have players coming together. Bailey Hodgson just joining up with Gaz O'Brien there, getting a mile of Hanley, and then Keenan Brown just finishing it all off. Absolutely brilliant. We've seen them do this time and time again. Bailey Hodgson just making that extra man on that outside event. But I tell you what, the key is Edwin Ipape jumping out of acting half. He's done it 4 times in the 4 sets that they've had. They've either made half breaks. One thing that they have, they've kept the opposition on the back foot right there. Once again, Edwin Ipape, he just jumped out of acting half. What that does, it holds the A defender in. It means that when you've got Hodgson coming around the back, you start to get your numbers, and that puts pressure on the defensive line.
Kevin Brown and Ryan Brierley picking up on it pre-match, of course. Such the strike that Leigh Leopards have in their 3-quarter line. Everything looking so good down that side with Brandon Hanley, but on the other side of the field you've got Tessie New and Josh Charnley, and it is really a question of where you go to stop what, isn't it?
Oh, they've just got strike everywhere on the park. If you were defending against them, what do we do? And you know, they spoke about the growth of Amila Hanley from throughout this season. He's absolutely just come on.
As O'Brien is sure with the boots and gets the extra points for the Leopards.
And that's a critical component. Just Edwin Ipape jumping out of acting half. That ties in the A defenders. Off the gas of O'Brien. The numbers come through, releases Hodgson, and then you've just got a numbers game. And they do that time and time again. This is something that I guess all the rest of the Super League clubs in the playoffs will be looking at. How do we stop Edwin Ipape? Well, first thing you do, you've got to play the ball down, and that's what the Leopards do really, really well. They get the noses down quickly, they play the ball quickly, and Edwin Ipape can just have a field day.
Well, that's good defence from Wakefield Trinity, who it just felt was starting to get a little bit of a foothold in this game. only for the Leopards to hit through with that try.
Well, that's a lesson for them. They got the foothold back and then they just let the ball, they give up the ball and give it back to the opposition, give it back to the Leopards. That gets them on the front foot.
Well, this, of course, is the first of the eliminators. Tomorrow it's Leeds against St Helens. You can hear that on BBC Sounds tomorrow evening from 8 o'clock. And then next weekend it's Hull Kingston Rovers against TBC. We don't know yet. The Super League semi-finals. And that's Saturday the 4th of October on BBC 2 from 5:15. Incidentally, if Wakefield win tonight, they will be the ones that will be travelling to Hull KR. But of course, plenty of rugby league to go before all that is decided this weekend. So Johnston taking the high ball and Wakefield getting themselves back in possession.
Yeah, good settling set there for the Leopards. They didn't try to overplay anything. They're playing the numbers game. They can get back down there, try and put pressure back on Wakefield, see if they can pull some more energy out of them. They're starting to look a little bit tired. Some of the Wakefield forwards are starting to walk back into the line. Daryl Powell might need to make some subs earlier than he actually hopes.
Hood at in half. And Wakefield looking to, I'm going to say maybe try and spread that ball wide, but they come back towards the middle, and again a little bit of a messy pass that Griffin can't take. It's around his feet by the time it gets there, and Daryl Powell is looking a little exasperated with that. Yeah, that's a great example of just tired ball handling, tired play, just losing your energy. The senior players need to now just sort of pull in and get everyone together and just say, look, we need to settle this down. The game's not away from us, it's only 6 points. We need to grab some energy back. You grab energy back by finishing your sets, by not giving up easy ball. Right now, the Leopards, they've got their fans, they've got the entire stadium behind them. They're on the front foot. Everybody's hungry at the moment. Good luck, Wakefield. So this gives Leigh a great position as Lamb tries to send New forward. Takes his time to get to his feet. It's Charnley who offers the ball to Halton. Straight direct drive from the foot forward. As Leigh again look up the centre of the field with Isaac Liu this time. Within 5 metres of the Wakefield line. Will they extend their lead from here? That's a great ball and a great line run by Ofengawe. He can't get through the defence this time. I think the post had a little bit of something to say there, as well as Lamb now to Halton. That's great from Wakefield. Close that door completely in defence. But still the pressure is there. On the last, the kick from Ipape, and that will just go dead. And it will be a dropout from beneath the Wakefield posts. Just ricocheting from the boot of Kais Vartili. So more pressure will come from Leigh Leopards. Yeah, the ball's been shepherded over. Robbie Mulhern didn't get a hand to that ball. More pressure that the Wakefield Trinity are going to have to suffer once again. Leigh really look like they're in the mood to put some points on the board. So the dropout will come. It's in the arms of Mason Lino, who's been in some fine form this season. What I like about Leigh is they're being very patient at the moment. They're not overplaying. They're sticking to their guns. They're sticking to their game plan. Very structured, being patient, and they're willing just to grind it out and take the energy out of Wakefield. And here we go with Hodgson. Up now, hold. Kais Fatili again involved in the defence, and a huge run there from Mulhern. Named in the England train-on squad for the Ashes. As Ipape again sends Liu up the centre of the field. Really having to work hard, Wakefield's defence. The big men from Leigh really making a difference at the moment. Ipape. Along the line, here's O'Brien. Keeping it moving to Hodgson. Oh, Hadley with the hands. Wonderful, taken back again by Brand. And it's sticking for the Leopards at the moment. Absolutely sticking for them. Here's Ipape. O'Brien once more, nice little ball back to Ofengawe. Wakefield's defenders in there with the numbers, working hard as Ipape goes in and they're through. Leigh, no they're not. Again, Wakefield having to work, but again, that defence doing its job. Substitution for Wakefield Trinity coming on number 31, Kais Vartili.
this is what we're saying about the Leopards. They're patient. They're fine. They're absolutely fine with starting a defense set 1 metre off the opposition line. And look at them picking the player up, trying to charge him back and goal. They get the ball back again. Patience, patience, patience. They're patient.
Well, it feels whatever Wakefield can do in defence, Leigh come out and go, we can do it better. Forcing that dropout, getting their numbers in, and keeping the pressure on.
I tell you what, it's a horrible and lonely place to be. When you're that one player that's hitting the ball up, and you've got 5 blokes flying at you, and you're 1 metre off your try line. Oh.
And Tom Johnstone is no slouch either when bringing that ball out of exit, and he really had nowhere to go there. So again, it's a dropout from Lino. Got a little shorter this time. Just makes the 10, but knocked forward by Trinity, I think, there.
Look, there was actually a smart play, but it also is a play of desperation. When you're doing a short kickoff, a short dropout, 10 metres out, you're basically telling the stadium that we're tired. We just need the rest. We need the ball back. We need to take our time and build it back up the field. All right, they've not got the ball back. They've got to go again.
Well, I can't lip read, but I'd love to know exactly what Darryl Powell was saying there. There's still just 6 points on the board, just round about the halfway mark in this first half, but it does feel that everything has been with Leigh so far. Referee Liam Moore just organising the troops as the scrum breaks away, and again it's Hodgson who comes through with a bit of a step, a bit of a swing of his hips. And 6 again, set restart for Leigh Leopards. 2 slow away from the play of the ball, Trinity. Mulhern taking play to within the 5 metre area now. Along the line again, O'Brien, fast hands from Lamb. A little bit of a bounce and losing a bit of territory, but again the referee just wiping that tackle count clean once more. Another set restart, Ipape. Here we go once more with Offengawi, just pushes off Liam Hood there. But still very much momentum with Leigh. Here's Mulhern, but can't take the ball with him, and Wakefield get a respite.
Oh, I tell you, that couldn't have come sooner. Wakefield were really struggling with their numbers. Their players, their forwards were struggling to get back on side. Everything was coming a little bit too quick for them. And that'll come as a great relief. But, you know, you've got to ask the question. Wakefield had basically just defended for 20 minutes. We've got to ask the question, what's going to happen minute 30, minute 35, minute 55, minute 50, when that attrition really starts to take its toll. Leopards won't change. They'll stick to their guns. They're not overplaying. They're just willing to play the game in a structured way, take the energy out and, rinse and repeat.
I was going to say to you the fact that Wakefield have kept their line intact apart from that try from Brand. How much heart can they take from it? But you're right, they can't defend like that for a full 80 minutes and keep their line intact, you would imagine.
Well, you can't. You're in fight or flight mode. You're not you're not thinking rationally. You're not thinking, okay, we've finally got the ball back. Everything's just frantic at the moment when you start to struggle, when fatigue plays its part. So what they need to do is get to the end of this set, kick the ball along, have a good solid line go down there, and then they can compose themselves once again. But really, if they're going to play well for the rest of this game, they need to lock this ball up.
Well, I think the possession stats say quite a lot there.
7 errors by Wakefield, 7 errors. You can't do that. In opening 20 minutes of a eliminator playoff, you can't do that.
So
Takes its toll long in the game.
Yeah, Lino with a long kick downfield again, taken nicely by Bailey Hodgson, who's been in great form. Another player in great form for Leigh this year. He's carried well, he's made metres. He's really done well since taking that full-back shirt from the injured David Armstrong.
Bailey Hodgson, Keenan Brand, the outside back for the Leopards, they do such a fantastic job. That man there, Milo Handley, just look at them, getting their noses forward, getting quick play the balls, allowing the puppy to jump out acting half. Then you got Charlie coming as well. These guys all have explosive power when they hit the line like back rowers. They all run like forwards. They're absolute specimens of athletes.
Ipape, lovely ball to Lamb, who shrugs off one defender, shrugs off a second, breaks to the 10, Wakefield having to scramble, Lamb still on his feet, long ball wide to Hanley, goes for the corner, what a hit in defence
What a defense!
Wow!
Well, I could hear it in the stand. Someone was screaming out, "What a tackle!" And I got to agree, what a tackle! You know, it's taken 3 of them. Amila Hanley is absolutely explosive. He's come off his right foot. But if they've stopped him from scoring this try, what a tackle. One of the tackles of the year.
And it needed to be as well. It was a try for all the world as Liu goes forward now and Liu is in. Isaac Liu joining Leigh this year. Not scored too many tries this season, but that will be one to remember for the Leopards.
He's one of those contemporary loose forwards that you have. He doesn't just run the ball hard. More likely than not, what he does, he hands the ball off. He's passing the ball, he's passing the ball. And what that starts to do is starts the defenders looking at the players around you. Then all of a sudden, what he does, a little bit of a head nod, he shows the ball just a little bit, straightens up, and then the opportunities are his. Players around him, off his left foot, backs up, and he's just got the power, the strength, the speed to get over the line. He just comes off the left foot. Seth Nicotimo just gets left in his dust, and then strength and power and speed gets him over the try line. See, at that point there, Nicotimo, what he's doing, he's looking at Robbie Mulhern, because this is the style of play that Isaac Liu's been running throughout the opening 20 minutes. Catch the ball pass, catch the ball pass, catch the ball pass. Takes the flies off him, the opportunity comes, he takes it.
Well, Adrian Lamb certainly enjoyed that, as did the Leigh supporters, as Gareth O'Brien concentrates on extending the lead by trying to tag on the extra 2, and he does.
Well, Sharon, we saw that coming. You know, we were looking at the stats. There were 7 errors by Wakefield. I think it's 8 now. So much possession on the Leopard side. Energy level starts to drop. Edwin Ipape, this come off the back of a break made by Lachlan Lamb. Once again, Edwin Ipape jumping out acting half, feeding Lachlan Lamb back through the middle. Then off the back of that, quick play the balls. Miley Hanley just, you know, great cover tackle. Miley Hanley playing the ball, and then Isaac Liu just coming up and taking the opportunity when he can from playing smart, telling lies for the opening 20 minutes, and then taking the opportunity when it avails itself.
So Wakefield will really need to try and get themselves into this game. 25 minutes played in this first half. And while it may only be 12-0 with plenty of rugby still to come, Leigh are really on such a roll, it feels, at the moment, and getting the better of Wakefield. That if Wakefield can't get some points on the board, you've got to really start to be concerned.
Oh, certainly. And you know, everything about Leopards at the moment is composed and it's structured, and they're not overplaying, they're just playing to their system. But they do it so efficiently and so well, and they've got so many options around the field. They can run from the middle of the park because they've got one of the most explosive players who jumps out of acting half. The halves can take you on, and then they've got strike weapons out wide. The forwards do a fantastic job, and we've just seen one of their key men score a try, and then a 40-20 just to top it off.
Lachlan Lamb, well, he's got a kicking boot on him. And he was so far inside his own 40 when he launched that one.
Look, I don't want to take too much away from Wakefield. Yes, they've not played brilliantly, but you can't take it away from the Leopards. Their structure, everything that they're doing is just spot on. I mean, that comes with experience in playoffs.
They look a well-oiled machine to the Leopards at this point. Pape from acting half. Long ball to O'Brien. Lays off the short one again to Liu. Again looking dangerous, 5 metres out from the line. Ipape goes quickly from acting half there to Lamb. Along the line to Halton, who'll take that ball in. A Tony there with the tackle. And you feel that Leigh just ramping it up again with the ball to Mulhern. Ipape assesses what he's got around him. And here's Lamb. Whoa, as if it was like a hot potato to Hodgson, who ducks then to try and get beneath and around the tackle, but Hood gets a hold of the ankle. Last of the set. The kick rebounds, then to the corner. Charnley is in.
And you only get that opportunity if everybody's on the front foot. For the Leopards right now, everybody is on the front foot. Everybody is looking for an opportunity. Everybody, Papa is such a threat at acting half. You basically, defenses can't do absolutely anything. They've got to deal with him first. And that means that you can't slide, you can't get your numbers out. Everybody, Papa just steps up. He looks to dink the ball in behind the line. Yeah, this is on the back of an amazing leadership play. See the opportunity. The wing is up. Too far up front, the opportunity is there. He tries to push it in behind Lachlan Lamb, but have a look at what Lachlan Lamb does right at the end there. He picks the ball up, he doesn't pass it straight away, he holds it, a no-look pass. That little hold, I'm pretending to try and score the try myself, sucks the defender in. Charnley gets a free run to the try line. The pressure continues to be put on Wakefield. Threats everywhere.
Well, you look at how the halves are operating for Leigh tonight, and Chuck Edwin and Pape in that mix as well, and they're just looking slick.
They are. You know what's great about Leigh is that they don't want to score on every play. They're happy just to put pressure on the middle of the park. It ties the defensives in. So they'll, more often than not, they'll play that lead runner, and that keeps defenders thinking, are they going to go out the back, are they going to hit the lead runner? When they do it more often than not, and then releases the space out wide.
So here's O'Brien, and again it's good. Good from the boot, and it's an 18-point advantage.
A little bit of insult to injury there with a great kick from the sideline.
And that was Charnley's 318th career try.
Just love that. That little, he just gives a little bicep pump before he releases that ball. It just ties in the defender.
Well, for a man whose future this season looked in doubt at Leigh, Josh Charnley has come good again for the Leopards. And here we go again with that roll on right from the back with Mulhern.
They're such a well-oiled machine. Everybody knows their place. Everybody knows their position. You know, the front rowers just hold the middle. They do their job so well. Mulhern, Offenkawe. Oh, just everything's just smooth.
Don't forget, plenty of rugby league to come in the autumn as well. England against Australia, the first test on Saturday the 25th of October, and you can see that on BBC One from 2 o'clock. And if you want to get a fill of rugby league before that, there's the Rugby League Top 10s podcast, and you can hear that now on BBC Sounds. Very entertaining, and I've heard that a certain Robbie Hunter-Poll gets a mention in a couple of those as well.
Do I?
Can't remember what the category was, Robbie, but you certainly got a mention.
You're going to mix up with Henry probably.
So Wakefield then, with Tom Johnstone right at the back, picking up yet another long kick downfield from Leigh Leopards. And you do wonder what kind of messages maybe Darryl Powell is getting down to his side, because they're being starved really of any decent possession and being made to work so much defensively with what Leigh are throwing at them. I'm not quite sure what Wakefield can do other than make some substitutions. The youngster Harvey Smith on from the bench, he's at acting half.
Yeah, they've rolled a lot of forwards in and off the field. The backs have been, I mean, I can tell you what Darryl tells. He said we've got to complete. We've got to get into the arm wrestle. We've got to take some of their energy out of Leigh. When we've got the ball in hand, if we complete our sets, that means that their players will get tired.
Well, a chaotic passage of play, all starting really by Mason Lino being rushed with the pass, and that has really taken Wakefield back downfield. I think the referee, Liam Moore, may be looking at a knock-on there somewhere.
So, I mean, this is an example of running out of energy, because the team that has all the energy is the Leopards, and they're doing that in defense. So they're getting forward, they're squashing everything Wakefield's throwing at them, and Wakefield are not allowed to not even finish their sets properly. And this will be the word. I mean, I can promise you now what's coming out of off the stands from Daryl Powell. It is, we've got to get to the end of our sets. We've got to set up a good platform, even if it looks ugly. Even if we just do 5 drives and it looks ugly, we've got to get a kick in. We've got to make sure that the next time Leigh carry the ball, they start the set inside their own 10 metres.
Well, Mason Lino not looking entirely comfortable as he trotted back to join that defensive line, and I'm sure that'll be something that the Wakefield bench will be keeping an eye on. And a big player for Trinity is the halfback. But they need the possession for Mason Lino to be able to try and work some magic, and at the moment it's still all the Leopards. O'Brien to Hughes. He'll get to his feet again. Ipape looking to see what magic he can work. O'Brien, short ball, that's nice to Hodgson. Inside the 10 again, the Leopards again looking dangerous. Ipape, short ball once more. This time wrapped up well by the Wakefield Trinity defence. And Ipape goes again, tries to put the grubber kick through, and that just goes dead.
Well, you can see Josh Rourke was a go over the sideline, go over the end goal, go over. We just need a breather. Important for the outside backs now for Wakefield to come in and get forward for them. The forwards have just done a ton of tackling in the middle of the park. The backs need to just come in, try and get as far down the field as possible, ramp up, get their noses down, get quick play the balls. And, you know, they've got Harvey Smith on the field now. He's great out acting half. He can steal yards, but you can only do that on the back to quick play the balls.
So Griffin will get to his feet and try and get that quick play of the ball. Smith gets it away to Mike McMeekin in the centre of the field. Not seen too much of him either tonight, understandably, with the amount of possession that Wakefield have had, and he can again be the one that can make a difference as Griffin tries to find space. The ball is played again to Pratt, to Mason Lino along the line. Again, back to McMeekin. Truman trying to organise the ranks. Gets the pass as first receiver. This is the last, and again, we see a drop ball, and again, coming from a hustle from Leigh, it's picked up by Myers, who tries to find his way through, and he can't keep hold of the ball either. But the line speed of Leigh and getting in the faces of the Wakefield players, they're just forcing the errors.
You know, it's one of those nights, actually, down there, the grass is starting to get really dewy, it gets slippery, and when you're under fatigue, when you're a little bit tired, this is what happens. Still, you know, it wasn't called a knock-on. You've got to hold on to that ball. You've got to allow your team just to have one more play, get that kick in, and start the defensive set on your terms, not handing the ball over and giving the Leopards, who are having a field day, the opportunity to get their nose forward and get some easy play the balls.
So the atmosphere still lifting in this stadium with the Leigh supporters, who already feel that their team just might have one foot in the semi-finals for a second consecutive season. But still, Wakefield no doubt will be looking to come up with some kind of answers to what Leigh have been throwing at them in this game so far.
Yeah, with 5 minutes to go in the half, look, if Wakefield can figure out a way of getting some points on the board, the whole scope of the game becomes completely different. Now, I can't see it happening just because of the mood Leigh are in. I mean, the fans in this stadium have become like the 14th man on the field for them. They're supercharging their players. They're pretty fresh. They look fresh out there. There hasn't been too many substitutions that have gone on with Leigh. The subs weren't made until after the 30-minute mark. They're still pretty fresh because they've had the ball for the majority of the game.
It's been a tough place to come all season, this stadium, now called the Progress with Unity Stadium, formerly known as Leigh Sports Village, of course. As Wakefield once more will try and edge their way up the field. And again, we see Leigh just getting numbers around the ball carrier as Ollie Pratt is brought to ground. Smith at acting half. It goes back to Lino. It's another high one. It's another tester for Hodgson, but hasn't put a foot wrong tonight, the young man at full-back.
Yeah, looking really strong, carrying the ball back really well as well and trying to get on his nose. More often than not, he's got quick play the balls. Again, Josh Charnley getting on his front, can get up and play the ball quickly.
And he's still limping, is Mason Leigh now, as Leigh again try and rampage up the centre of the field with Tessie New, and have played the ball to Edwin Epape, and now it's Matt Davis.
That's got to be a frightening sight. A quick play the ball, then Tessie News charging at you like a raging rhino.
I think you can level that at a few of the Leigh players tonight. Here's Liu again, has a real rustle and a tussle with Smith. McMeekan helping out there. But again, look at the speed of that play of the ball. Epape along the line, on the last, Lamb. Hodgson comes in to join the line. And that will be the handover.
No panic from Leigh, no one's throwing their hands up, no one's disappointed that there wasn't a kick, they're just happy. They're happy to start a defensive set on the 10-metre line. They know that they've got the momentum, they know they've got the energy, they know they're fresh, they're going through the stages still. Everything's great for Leigh.
So Wakefield again will try to break outside of their own half of the field, and Myers will get no change out of that contest. Smith just having a little go at Holton, who gets legs tangled up, but nothing untoward, and play continues again, and it's Smith who tries to take it from acting half. Rodwell again looking for that play of the ball, but not quite as smooth as it could have been, as Trinity look to find space out wide with Nicotimo, who thinks he isn't held, and Lamb goes in for a second bite of the cherry. And this is on the last, and Myers and Lamb squaring up to each other. The referee right on the spot, and Cam Scott trying to get involved as well, just to calm matters down.
Time's off, boys, time's off, time's off.
And this will take a little bit of sorting out, I think, for Liam Moore. And Nicotimo still down on the ground. This inadvertently could just be a bit of a breather for Wakefield Trinity, but might not be great news for Nicotimo down there. So it doesn't seem anything will come from that. The referee, benefit of the doubt, isn't it, that Nicotimo didn't realise he was tackled and tried to play on.
So they'll just have to play the ball again. I like it when they brought that rule in a couple of years ago. At the referee's discretion.
I think it's that tackle there that certainly where the problem was caused to Nicotimo's shoulder.
Yeah, he's just come over. It's a little bit of a AC joints squish. He gets up, tries to run again, and he just gets hip flexed, hip thrown. His body weight, Lachlan Lamb's body weight coming down on that shoulder, just puts a bit of pressure on the AC joint.
Well, from what we've heard so
the
far,
first bit, but then Lamb puts the forearm in the face. In my opinion, that's unnecessary. I'm going to penalise him. I agree. Thank you, Johnny. Captain, please, boys. Captain,
so both
please.
captains been spoken to.
He gets injured because he lays on his fucking shoulder and lays down. Was it your shoulder that's injured? Yeah, that's it.
Okay, boys, I appreciate it. I'll deal with you, Lachlan. Yeah, so what happens is, boys, I appreciate neither of you realise he's tackled. You continue to play, and obviously you complete the tackle. But Lachlan, what I don't like is the fact that after that, you put the forearm in the face, which in my opinion is unnecessary, mate. That's why I'm penalising you. It'll be the penalty to Wakefield. Thank you, mate.
So it looks like the penalty to Wakefield Trinity from that. And I don't think Adrian Lamb was too happy with that decision there, was he?
Yeah, it's a little serving that he gives Nicotimo at the end there. Just gives him one, just there. Lachlan Lamb saying, I'm just getting up. I'm just using my elbow to get up. Look, here's an opportunity for Wakefield. They've not had much time in this part of the field. This is where they get some energy up. We said if they can get some points on the board, the whole scope of the game changes.
McMeekan then bringing a Tony into play.
2, move, get back the 10, get back, hold. 2.
Smith from acting half. Here we go to Rodwell with the drive. Still getting numbers and plenty of them around them as well, the Leigh Leopards players. Can Wakefield crack it? Truman along the line finds Lino, who tries to get the ball away to Scott, who inadvertently in the end was taken off the ball before it's been hacked downfield and collected again by Smith. And Wakefield, at least, not long left on the clock in this first half, but at least do get possession back.
There might be a Hail Mary play here. They've got a couple of tackles up their sleeve.
McMeekin keeps the ball alive. Wakefield can't make too much from it as Roke goes to acting half, sends the ball long to Truman, finds Lino, and there's the half-time hooter. The last action of the half, and a half that Leigh Leopards have dominated, Robbie.
Absolutely brilliant performance there by Leigh Leopards. Only guilty of overplaying once, and that was just in that final set of the half. They come out, they stuck to their game plan, they put a world of pressure on the Wakefield pack. They kept them defending, kept turning them around, being very patient, and with that patience has come points. And that's what it takes. That's what it takes to win playoff. It's a mindset. To win the playoff, you've got to be disciplined. You've got to take your game to another level, and every single player on the park has to do their part. And that, you know what? That's been nearly a perfect 40 minutes by the Leopards.
3 tries then for Leigh Leopards. Keenan Brand, Isaac Liu and Josh Charnley, all converted by Gareth O'Brien. At half-time then, Leigh Leopards 18, Wakefield Trinity 0.
Well, watching that with us, Kevin Brown and Ryan Briley, and that was a pretty dominant first half, wasn't it, from Leigh?
Yeah, Leigh, it was almost flawless up until the last 2 minutes. I think they were perfect. I thought Lachlan Lamb was sensational. The right edge was good, but so was the left. We've not seen anything from Wakefield that we've expected. Darryl Powell said in his pre-match stuff that they all have to be on. Well, that's as sloppy as I've seen Wakefield with the ball in probably all season. Whether it's the stage or whether they've tried to play out of trouble or what, I'm not sure. But they need to be much, much better. And if we do see the best Wakefield can score 4 tries.
You said that to play the way that Darryl plays, they need to have possession, and they haven't had it.
No, literally just looking at the stats, 30-odd% possession. So I think Darryl Powell was stood here, and I mentioned about would he attack this, I suppose, the game the same way? Would he approach it the same way? And ultimately, we don't know, because they've not had the ball, have they? So I think Kev's right. There will be a moment in this game where Wakefield will have possession. They'll have a period of dominance. So I think 18-0 just keeps Wakefield in it, if I'm honest, Kev. I reckon if it got to 24, I think that's game over. But 3 tries is just about doable, but they need to perform a lot better.
Leigh started really, really strongly, didn't they? Dominated and eventually got an error out of Wakefield.
They did, and it was Wakefield trying to play the way out of trouble. They moved the ball, we know they moved the ball, but when they were moving the ball, they just got over the halfway, and it looked like Jake Truman was going to put Josh Rourke away. He gets the offload, and he just can't pull the ball into his grasp, and off the back of that, it was just momentum. And I actually thought Wakefield defended quite well up until the point where they got the ball out wide to Keenan Brand. For me, it was a forward pass. I thought the final pass was a touch forward, but sensational play from the Leopards, and I just thought they built the game, Ryan.
It's an error from Ollie Pratt in defence. Also, the system is he's got to go and try and tackle the fullback. He misses the fullback in Bailey Hodgson, which compromised their left. And we spoke about Myla Hanley and Keenan Brand. They're too good at players to give misreads like that. Ollie Pratt just gets caught out there, out of position, and Myla Hanley passes to Keenan Brand to score. But you're right, it's almost in fine margins, isn't it? If it wasn't a playoff game, did they play that pass to Rourke? Did they almost gamble on that offload, or did they not? And that's what the question I mentioned. Would it almost be the same way? But you've got to make them plays count. I think it's first 10 minutes of the game, you can't cough up possession like that.
And Leigh just then dominated, didn't they? They attacked, and eventually Lachlan Lamb got a break.
They did, and when Lachlan Lamb made the break, it looked like it was going to be a superb try. The play from Ipape to Lachlan Lamb, and I said to Ryan at this stage, I said, he'll do something here, and he throws a long ball. And if Ollie Pratt was at mistake for the first try, well, he saved one here, and I give him no chance of stopping Myla Hanley scoring there. But off the resulting play, what I would say is this is poor. It's a left foot step from Isaiah Liu, and he just goes straight through and scores a real soft try. In a playoff game, when you want to win a grand final, you can't defend like that. Man on man, you've got to make your tackles.
That'll kill Darryl Powell, that won't it? He'll be furious for that attempt. I think it just come off on the field as well, so it's not like he can't blame fatigue for that effort. And I suppose when you look back, if Wakefield are to lose them, to lose this game, when Darryl Powell reviews this, that'll be the one that hurts him the most. When probably more effort areas. You can handle good play or good skill from Lachlan Lamb and he's using his feet, he Papa in the back of it, but what you can't accept is the sloppiness of that in a playoff game. It's not good enough.
And then we had a bit more Lachlan Lamb with a 40-20 that set them up for the third try.
Yeah, well, he was in red hot form at this stage. You know, Wakefield were doing everything they can to get in the game. He goes to dummy half and he finds a rocket off his left boot. Not only does he find a rocket, he finds the position when they get the resulting play the ball in the half. He just picks the ball off, and this looks pretty simple, but it's the patience he's got just to double pump the no-look pass to Josh Charlie. Once that's in his grasp, there's no one stopping him. And for me, at that point, I was really worried for Wakefield that it was going to blow out, and it still can. Wakefield need to change the mindset, be a lot cleaner with the ball. Their execution needs to be better, or things like this will carry on. When you're defending your own line time and time again, you do become unlucky. You do get the ricochets going against you. At the other end of the field, they won't have that.
For me, I just think Lachlan Lamb is in red hot form. I suppose you always wonder when, I suppose, the best players throughout the season will turn up in big games. That's always the worry, isn't it? I suppose as a coach, probably a senior player, that big players need to turn up in big games. And for the first 40 minutes, Lachlan Lamb has been Leigh's best player, and he needed to be, and he has been.
Well, in less than a month's time, we will be enjoying the Ashes. So to whet your appetite, we are going to take you back 31 years and a very special game for one Jonathan Davis.
And welcome to Wembley Stadium for the first test of 1994. Wonderful occasion.
Good afternoon, Wembley!
Has been underway. He's got Ettingshausen out. Oh, that was a high tackle. That was a bad high tackle. And Edwards is being sent off, I'm sure. Clark, good pass to Betts. Betts to Davis. Davis, he's got some space. He's going for the corner. He's got his head back. And the Welshman is in for a magnificent try at the corner. That's the speciality of Jonathan Davis. Australia moving in. Stewart, Grinninger, Renouf, he's got a 2-1 here, he's going himself, Renouf is in! And at last the Great Britain line is punctured. Goulding to take the kick, a lot of pressure on small shoulders. But he's up to it, the roars behind the post tell the story. Great Britain have done it! Who would have thought when Sean Edwards was sent off that Ellery Hanley could have masterminded a victory like this?
Great memories and more to be made this year. We'll be live at Wembley for the first test on Saturday the 25th of October. And don't forget that the BBC is the exclusive home for the entire Ashes series. Before then, our live coverage of the Super League playoffs continues next weekend. We'll be in Hull to see if the Robins can make it to a second grand final in a row. That's on Saturday at 5:30 over on BBC Two. And you can see highlights from the opening day's play at the Ryder Cup on BBC Two at midnight. And all eyes will be on Twickenham tomorrow afternoon for the Women's Rugby Union World Cup final. Canada versus England from 3 on BBC One. One not to be missed.
13 strangers on the adventure of a lifetime.
Look at that view. Literally breathtaking.
All they and you have to do is answer one question.
Where the X am I?
They absolutely lied to me.
Fight to the end.
This game is brutal.
Destination X. Watch all episodes on BBC iPlayer.
And the destination from St Helens Women's is the grand final. See what we did there. They beat the reigning champions York Valkyrie in the semi-finals. Both teams defended magnificently, but Saints just edged it by 12 points to 8. In the end, it came down to the kicking. Faye Gaskin converting both the Saints' tries, while the Valkyrie missed both of theirs. And they will face Wigan, who made light work of beating Leeds in the other semi-final. Eva Hunty getting another 2 tries. She's one of 3 players on the all-Wigan shortlist for the Women of Steel alongside Jenna Fumister and Izzy Rowe. They're looking to complete the treble, having already picked up the Challenge Cup and the League Leaders' Shield. Now, it has just been announced that Mikey Lewis has signed a new 5-year deal with Hull KR. He's one of 3 players on the Man of Steel shortlist alongside Jake Connor and Jay Field. And Kevin, really good news, not just for Hull KR, but for Super League, that Mikey is staying put.
No, I love it. We want to watch our best players. We want our best players playing in Britain, and that's what we've got. We've got Julian December locked up long term, now Mikey Lewis long term. And what I really like about Mikey is he's a sensational player, but he's got character as well. Everyone loves, you know, playing against him and playing with him, and sure, the Hull KR fans love him. And probably the big praise I've got for him is he's the Man of Steel, but he's had a consistent season again and he's in the running again. There's not many people do that. He's a quality player, and I can see him getting much better over this 5-year deal.
Yeah, for me, I just think it's a massive coup for Super League to keep him in our competition. I think for years now we've lost our best talent, haven't we, to the NRL, and I think that certainly cements him, obviously, in this competition as one of the best players in the comp. I think whether you like Mikey or not, I just think for me, his box office is what we want to create in this game. That we want characters like Kev said. I think the game would be in a much more boring place, wouldn't it, without people like Mikey Lewis. So great coup for Hull KR, but more importantly, brilliant for Super League.
It's a big statement from them, isn't it?
For sure, and that's what you want, isn't it? You want clubs to be able to keep their best talents, and Hull KR have done that for, obviously, a number of years now, and I think for the commitment they've shown to each other is important. He's a local boy, so that's what you want. You don't want the NRL pinching our best talent, especially from a boy who's playing for his local team as well. It just doesn't sit right, does it? I think he should be achieving his dream, and ultimately he wants to win a grand final, doesn't he, with Hull Kingston Rovers, and they're getting pretty close to it.
How much can he develop even more in the next 5 years, and can he break into that England starting 13?
Well, I think he's very close already, isn't he? And I think his development, for me, I've been blown away by his developments over the last couple of years. For me, he was a runner, and he was sort of like another fullback on the field. But what he does now is he organises his team. He can play as that first receiver. His kicking game's improved. Defensively, we don't speak about him missing tackles. He's very tough. I think he's a great player already, and he's knocking on Sean Wayne's door. He could push himself into that starting Ashes lineup this year, but he's knocking on the door, and over the next 5 years, I think the key one now is if they can tie Willie Peters up and they can go on that journey together, and half-back coaching, you know, the incumbent half-back, I think it's frightening for everyone else.
So is he your Man of Steel, or does it go to Jake Connor or Jay Field?
Not for me, I think Jay Field. I think what's probably underestimated is the loss of Bevan French to Wigan Warriors this season, and normally Jay Field scores or creates a lot on the back of Bevan French, but I think Jay's had to do a lot on his own this year, and that shouldn't be, I suppose, overlooked. I think for them to still finish second and for Jay to finish second top try scorer is a massive achievement as we get blown by the smoke again. I just think it's probably underrated the work he's done, especially defensively. He's saved a lot of tries and had to create a lot himself, so for me it would be Jay Field.
Yeah, I disagree. I think Jay Field's a terrific player and he's had a great season, as has Mikey Lewis. But Jake Connor, I think he's been sensational this year.
The half-back's gone for a half-back, the full-back went for a full-back. Why Jake Connor?
Jake Connor, for me, I think he's been a big reason why Leeds have been so good. I think Leeds are probably the biggest threat to Hull KR and Wigan. And I think Jake Connor's been a massive part of that. Every time I've watched Leeds play and Leeds win, Jake Connor's been the best player on the field, and that's been consistent for the season. That's not been the same when I've watched Wigan. They have multiple players. The same with Hull KR. When I watch Leeds and Leeds are good, they're like when Leigh are playing well and Lachlan Lamb's at the heart of it. Jake Connor's the centrepiece, and I think he's been magnificent.
And Leeds take on Saints tomorrow in the next eliminator. Who wins that one for you?
I think Leeds just edge it. I think Brad Arthur's made them, I suppose, a tougher team. And I always think when I watch Saints, they're physically good. They're always going to be physically good. But I believe Leeds have probably got a little bit more in attack. I think the likes of Brodie Croft, Jake Connor, who Kev mentioned, I think Lockie Miller's had an unbelievable season as well. I just think Leeds have a bit more in their armoury from an offence point of view.
Yeah, exactly that. I think, you know, I'm worried about Saints' spine. I still don't think Paul Wellens knows who's the best fullback, who's the best six. So for me, I think Leeds are more settled, and for that reason, I think Leeds at AMT Headingley win that game.
So looking ahead to the second half here, can Wakefield get back into it? How do they get back into it?
I think naturally the game won't follow the same flow as the first half. They're going to have a period of dominance, like I said earlier, but when they have that, they're going to have to score points, and ultimately we know we know they can score points, like Kev mentioned. So I think when they have them chances, they need to be really clinical, probably revert back to type of what they've played like all year. They've come up with some special plays at some special times. Jake Truman and Mason Lilley are probably going to have to get a grip of the game at some point.
They've got to get hold of the ball.
For sure. They need the ball, don't they? And I think they're in danger of almost letting the game slip away. So when they have that period of dominance, they're going to have to score points.
The worrying thing for me now is that Wakefield can't be conservative. They have to score first. They almost have to go into overdrive, into taking more risks, and that could make it look even worse for the scoreboard. They need to score first, and they need to get back in this game by playing with the ball. They can't be conservative and expect to win this in an arm wrestle. So expect some chip overs, some ball movement, and some razzle-dazzle.
Sorry, I was slightly laughing at you because the last blast of smoke just took out our floor manager. It just went straight through him, poor chap. Is discipline key for Leigh? You know, Lachlan Lamb at the end there, just a little bit of ill discipline could let Wakefield back in.
Well, I think Adrian would have been furious if they conceded on the back of it. I think that's probably a big learning curve for Leigh going forward, that in these top level games, these high intensity games, you can't let them discipline issues creep into your game, especially such fine margins, isn't it, Tanya? So
and that was the only blemish on what we've seen there, wasn't it, Ryan? Where Lachlan Lamb, he makes the tackle, he does fantastic, he flips him over. The referee's not got anything wrong with that, but it's that bit there. That, for me, is the only blemish in almost a perfect first half.
It's not needed, Kev, is it? Because he's been dominant in his tackle. He's won the tackle and essentially puts him on his back, and he's defended really well, Lachlan, so he just doesn't need to let Wakefield back into a game. Because I always believe 3 tries is doable, Tanya, but if one more try from Leigh's side, I can't see Wakefield getting back into it. So that could have been a really dangerous moment from the Leigh side.
I think Lachlan Lamb will be saying, if we can be conservative for 10 minutes, play when we get on the try line and attack, but don't be offloading in the ball in your own half, and Wakefield will go away. I think Darryl Powell-Lee's going to be saying, we've got to front up and aim up when we've not got the ball, but we've got to take some risks and take some chances.
Is there also an element for Darryl of picking him up?
For sure, and you can imagine them players from the Wakefield side in the dressing room thinking, wow, it probably couldn't have gone much worse. That we've all been there, haven't we, Kev, when you put a performance like that for 40 minutes and you're thinking, how do we get into this game? I think what is important for Darryl is to not go in shouting and bawling at them. I think he needs to provide some clarity, like what Kev said about how you're going to get him back into the game. We're going to have to move the ball, we're going to have to put certain trick plays on. But they say they're not going to go die wondering, are they, Kev? They're going to come out swinging here.
No, what they need to really master is their execution. If they get their execution right, everything else was fine. It was just that the target when they were passing the ball was missing more often than not, and that's been a blemish in the season. So I do expect them to be much more clinical in the second half.
Well, as they emerge through the smoke, let's hand you back up to our commentary team of Robbie Hunter-Paul and Sharon Shortle.
Thanks, Tanya. Well, one of these teams, of course, 40 minutes away from their season ending. The other one, 40 minutes away from a place in the playoff semi-finals. At the moment, that will be Leigh. And Robbie Hunter-Paul alongside me, as they were just saying there about Wakefield, they have got nothing to lose now in this second half. Darryl Powell saying it was a free hit, and that certainly applies now for Wakefield Trinity.
Oh, it certainly does. And, you know, when you're looking down the barrel of the gun and there's 18 points against you, you got to think to yourself, we've got to play some rugby league here. Look, I wouldn't expect it in opening 10 to 15 minutes. I think they're going to need to get some purchase, just solidify the game a little bit. You know, playing the traditional way, you score a try, you get some momentum, you score another try, and you know what? The game is then in your charge. Wakefield have brought a whole stand full of supporters with them. Those guys will be deafening, and they'll bring you forward. So getting a try early on and getting a second try on the board, and anything can happen.
And Wakefield really do need a good start to this second half to try and get some sort of purchase in this game after that first half that Leigh absolutely dominated.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see Leigh's interest in their defence, because they were so defensive in that opening 10-20 minutes of the first half. They were getting together in numbers, they were screaming out of the line, dominant, they were pushing Trinity back into their own in goal. So defence is generally a great indicator of what your mindset is. for the team. So if your D gets together, if you're aggressive on D, then generally you're in a good position. You're not taking the foot off the gas. But we'll see. You know, Leigh don't want to go into the halftime thinking we got this, because there's too many talented players in their Wakefield side. Wakefield have underperformed in the opening 40 minutes. They've got so much more to offer, and given a sniff, 18 points isn't insurmountable.
Well, Wakefield have come into this playoff match having won 3 of their last 4 matches, and that run included a win against the league leaders, Hull Kingston Rovers. But they were certainly in a better position at this stage of that game than what they are this evening. But as you say, Robbie, you never know what Wakefield have got inside them, what they could do in this second half, as Daryl Powell just watches on.
Well, that was another good sign there for the Leopards. Edwin Papa, the first set, back in the second half, he's running the ball again. That was critical in that opening 10, 20 minutes, that Edwin Papa kept chewing up yards in the middle of the park, just tiring them out.
Well, straight away there, it looked like Josh Rourke took a knock. He's at least moving, which is a good sign, but hopefully it's not too big a problem for the Wakefield Trinity fullback in the side tonight in place of Max Jowett, who left the field really early last week against Salford and failed an HIA, and that's allowed Rourke to come into the side tonight. And that'll be concerning times for Daryl Powell.
I'm not sure, mate. We'll just go with a review.
Just looking down on the bench, it was a very forward-heavy bench as well, of Rodwell, Nicotimo, Atoni and Smith, all of which have been on the pitch, but this is looking promising now for Rourke. He gets a thumbs up as well from the physio. And I think that was just, a collision there. At first I thought it was a head collision from the back, but I think he got a knee at the front.
Yeah, I think it's just Owen Trout's just coming in to make the tackle. As Rourke's going down, it's just one of those uncomfortable, awkward situations. There's no malice in it. Trout's just come in to make the tackle. The players have gone below him, and he's just accidentally caught the hip. But it's contact to the head, constitutes a penalty, but nothing more. Very refereeing. Let's move on.
Yeah, mitigation, says referee Liam Moore. He was sliding down, was Rourke, as Trout came in to try and complete that tackle.
2.
So the yards will be welcomed by Wakefield Trinity.
Hold. Goal 2.
As Smith tries to launch some wave of attack at the centre of the field through Kai Rodwell. Nice one-handed take as well from the young fullback, and now it's Griffin. Sorry, from the young hooker, I should say, not fullback. Smith.
Hold.
As Griffin is brought down again. Smith there to Truman. McMeekan takes his time almost there, looking at what was in front of him, really not getting his head down and charging, using his experience as to how to take that ball into that defensive line. As we get the kick from Lino on the last, and that falls into traffic. It's picked up by Johnstone, still on the last. Lateral run, gives it to McMeekan, again looking for the width. He finds the width to Myers, and Myers gets the ball down in the corner. But the referee won't be happy with this. Was he in touch? Was it clean? It'll be Tom Grant who decides.
Looking at touchline grounding, please, mate.
Tackle 5, so it's from a kick, so we'll pause the ball on the foot like over try, so pause on the foot, please. So we've got players that are onside to the left, but there's 2 players in and around that vicinity, they're offside, so we'll roll this through slow, please, stay on this angle. Also watch the kicker, so it's McMeekan and Smith. So they stay well out of the 10, so we're just in towards the contact and the challenge. So something tight, please. So who does the ball come off? So it's up slow. That ball appears to be missed by Wakefield and comes off Brand. Can we just double check that, please? So slow on this. That's missed by Wakefield. Who is that? Does that come off Leigh? So just something a bit tighter. So we've already established that the first element is missed by Wakefield. So slow, please. So miss from Wakefield. That comes off O'Brien's arm, so we can play him to this point. So let's back on the wide, please. Comes off Wakefield, so we can play on. So we're playing through. So we're just on towards the touch and ground element now, please. So something from the corner. So slow on this. He's well in field at this point, and in possession, falling. Just take this back, please. Play through. So still in possession. Thank you. I've seen all I need.
Well, that looks like it's the start that Wakefield, Trinity and Darryl Powell would have wanted, as Jaden Myers' try is given in the stadium and Wakefield are off the mark.
Yeah, it's taken us 43 minutes to see Wakefield Trinity put together a well-structured, practical set, and on the back of it they've scored at their first try of the night. They need to do more of it. That must have been the conversation that was going on at halftime. Look, on the back of what we do well, setting the platform, getting forward, great kicking game, getting numbers through, creating space, creating opportunities, getting our ball out to our quick men when they're in space, and we'll put points on the board.
Well, it's a tough-looking kick for Mason Lino, but one he can't manage to land either, so no extras added. But that is just what Wakefield Trinity needed.
And there we go, Mason Lino once again, and you've got numbers coming through. Rourke does a great job of getting up there and disrupting the defenders. Wakefield players are still spread out wide. They've got the numbers, space on the hand, and then you've got the speedster Myers. Ball goes down, try time. This is what they can do. They've got the talent. Whether or not they'll have the energy. But I tell you now, the Leopards have to answer fire with fire. They need to get back into them.
Well, that could just be the confidence that Wakefield need by managing to get those first points of the second half. And let's see now if they can get a roll on off the back of it. Moving it out wide and again trying to dance their way through, but the referee on the spot. Penalty to Leigh. Obstruction.
Yep, and they didn't need that. Look, inviting the Leopards back into the half. It's within kicking distance. It'll be interesting to see whether or not they take the 2 points. They'll extend their lead out to 2 tries, 2 conversions, and another try.
And the kicking tee has been brought out onto the field, so that advantage has just been closed a little. For the Leigh Leopards could just stretch a little again if Gareth O'Brien can take advantage of what we've just seen there with Wakefield just getting it wrong, basically.
Look, just a little bit of inexperience there. You can get away with that. You can run that illegal play, but you've got to give yourself up. You've got to tackle yourself. You've got to take a knee, go to ground, let the opposition just have the play, and then you can finish your set out.
So Gareth O'Brien, his 4th conversion attempt of the evening, the first penalty of the night, and it's good. The flags are up. 20 points to 4, and for all that Wakefield could have taken confidence from that try from Jaden Myers, that may have just burst their bubble a little bit again.
Yeah, look, it becomes a time game at some point. You're looking at the scoreboard, you know there's no next week. This isn't a league game, this is an eliminator. There's no next week, you've got no second chance. The time on the clock starts to go faster and faster. You start panicking, you start pushing passes. So that's the challenge. Wakefield really have to manage their mindsets.
And with those mindsets, Knockout Rugby League will certainly be playing on them. So Leigh with the drive from the kickoff. They've got the time on their side. They've got the scoreboard on their side as well. And as you've said, Robbie, they've been patient almost from the word go tonight of Leigh. They've really felt that they've been in control. They're on that home ground where they are difficult to break down, and just everything's been for Leigh tonight, and it's been reflected in how this game's unfolded in their play.
Yeah, they've been really patient. I tell you, this is the man that holds the key for the Leopards. Edwin Poppy. When he's running from back in half, when he's tying in the markers, it creates space out wide. They've got great forwards that punch holes, and if he can get on the back of it, it continues to put pressure. when he started running in that opening 20 minutes, that's when when Wakefield really started to struggle around the edges of the defence.
Yeah, it often is when Edwin Ipape is on song, Leigh on song, as Lamb kicks long downfield. It's a tester, but again, it's Myers who takes that ball nicely for Trinity, and a great chase and met by the brick wall that is Tessignew.
See, I've noticed Leigh do a lot of that tonight. Hitting contact and then yards after contact. Now, we normally talk about that when you're attacking with the ball. Mike McMeekin's brilliant at it. He gets into contact and then he keeps trundling players up. Well, Leeds have done a lot of this. Contact, numbers in the tackle, lift the Wakefield player and trail him back 3 to 5 extra metres. What that does, it just throws your attack out. It makes it really messy in the middle to try and get momentum and get on the front foot. And they're doing it time and time again. Lift the player, push him back.
When you look as well at Wakefield's shape at the moment, I've seen far better shape from Wakefield at times this season than what we're seeing at the moment in this game. And Leigh are really forcing them to, I suppose, just resort to the best they can to try and gain that territory and metres. But Leigh still throwing all sorts at Wakefield, and they're struggling to just really keep a grip of them.
Yeah, that's not good signs. When you're seeing the shape get the loss, that's a fatigue thing. Now, what Wakefield then, the best way to confront, to attack fatigue is emotion. If you can get some opportunities, get your defense forward, put some pressure on the opposition, make them spill the ball, get into position, put some points on the board, emotion can make you ride for the rest of the game. And that's when it becomes pressurized for the Leopards. So look, they need to play, they need to do whatever they can to play in the Leopards' face and stop them from letting this guy run first and foremost. This is where the pressure will come from, in the middle of the park.
Well, Leigh shipped the ball wide again to Lamb, who puts the kick up high, and again a tester for Rourke, who passes it again, leaps highest, takes it nicely, and will play
it's that Groundhog Day. Leigh have got down there again. They put a kick in. Their whole defensive line has got through. The play the ball started 2 metres off Wakefield's line, and they've got their defence set, making contact, making good contact, dominating the tackles, getting their line set. And look, Wakefield are going to have to kick the ball long again.
Now it's Ollie Pratt.
Deep in their own half.
Ollie Pratt just getting to his feet. The ball played to Smith.
Oh.
And that's nice to McMeekin. McMeekin trying to shrug off the defence of Trout, who hangs in there for dear life and eventually hauls the Trinity man down. But Wakefield looking to get a bit more pace in that play. Nice chip over the top from Lino, but taken safely and cleanly by the Leopards. And Isaac Liu plays that ball, and Leigh again try and come forward and almost again finding half an inch up the centre of the field to try and exploit.
Look, Kev said that at half-time, that Wakefield are going to have to throw caution to the wind. They're going to have to try things. And there you're seeing a chip kick. Low percentage play. You've always got players ducking back, sweeping. These guys are absolute athletes. But, Wakefield are going to be looking at the clock. They're going to see their time keep ticking away. They're going to see their season going without them. And they're going to start to continue to challenge.
So Pape takes the ball from acting half and offloads nicely to get a few more metres for Leigh Leopards. And again, it's Ipape from acting half, driving towards the line, and Wakefield really having to throw their bodies in the way now of the Leopards. 10 metres out from the line, going short. O'Brien, better from Wakefield. Plenty of numbers from both teams in that area, and Leigh running out of space eventually, and Frankie Holton brought to ground and forcing the handover.
It's a bit of a Groundhog Day, isn't it? Look at where Leigh keep handing the ball over. They're a metre or two off Wakefield's line, and they're just getting big defence. Big numbers coming through. Tutabake there just making himself known, and letting the Wakefield forward pack know that he's on the field now.
Kais Fatili back on the field as well. He's a man who can really make the metres, but hasn't been allowed to tonight. As Tom Johnstone is the next one to try and break forward for Wakefield Trinity, who are still pretty deep inside their half of the field, as Lino tries to get the ball moving and releasing Scott. And Scott, you could see the whites of his eyes then as he was looking to see if there was a pass on. I think wisely held on to it as Truman puts the ball up high on the last of the set. Hodgson is there, superb from the fullback tonight. and possession back with Leigh.
And that's enterprising play by Wakefield. They're pushing the ball, but they're having to push the ball early in their own half of the ball, in their own half of the game. That, that asks questions, but it also is low percentage. Leigh, they're more than happy just to keep punching away. Let the clock take care of them. Here's another man loves jumping out of acting half. Dwyer, he'll put pressure there. I mean, you expect him to run at least once from absolutely every set. And I think that's what the Leopards need to do, just to put that pressure back on Wakefield, who've got a little bit more purchase in the game.
Yeah, if Edwin Apapi can cause problems from acting half, so can Brad Dwyer, but in a different way for the Leopards as Roke leaps well, protects that ball as he catches it, turns his body as the hit comes in from Charnley. But again, Robbie, you've said it, Groundhog Day, same again in that corner, Wakefield having to start.
Yeah, they know what's working for them. Look, Mason Lino there, he's tired, he's been defending that side, hands are on his hips, not good signs. A lot of their players still just walking back on time, trying to suck in a lot of breath. That's an energy game, and that's because Leigh just keeps turning them around, putting them back in the corner, making them work out of the hardest part. Coming out of the corner of the field is the hardest to do because you can just stack your defense, get 3 defenders on 1 attacker.
And Lino tries to get that ball moving again wide, but again an error from Wakefield allows Leigh to pop up with that possession. And Leigh looking much the sharper, much the brighter at this stage of the game as Brand takes play back to 40 metres out.
Yeah, great opportunity for Wakefield there, but just one pass too far. But it's a low percentage play. They're having to move the ball in their own 30-metre line. And because, they're running out of time, they're staring down points, they've got to get points on the board, they've got to take opportunities. They're playing straight into the Leopards' hand because that takes energy. You're spreading your line wide, and Leigh can just keep coming back at them.
Dwyer, long pass to Mulhern, who finds Lamb, and rampaging through Tessie New. And I think, did he lose the ball there? But heard the whistle go, perhaps not. The referee saying play on. Oh, look at his face. There's blood pouring from Tessie New's face. I just saw the referee wipe the tackle count clean as well there.
Okay.
But again, it'll be down to Liam Moore just to unpick what's going on. But New has certainly, he'll have a war wound to show from this battle.
Yeah, a little bit of a head clash there with Harvey Smith. Look, Harvey Smith trying to hold on to Tessie New there. Bit of a size difference.
He's fearless though, Harvey Smith, isn't he? He just cracks on. He's not.
All the little blokes in rugby league, they're just little terriers. They won't back down from absolutely anyone. I think I was the only little bloke that backed down from people. But they're the worst. They're always starting the scraps. They're in the middle of it. They love getting amongst it. Tessie New's like, this guy really picking a fight with me?
Yeah. Well, a bit of...
There was nothing in it.
No, a bit of...
Okay.
Well, Leigh still...
Just for the reference, I stopped the game because he's pouring with blood. Okay.
It's just looked
going to be 0 tackles. Okay. Nothing daft. Don't need players coming in. I've stopped it for the blood.
It's been handled well. Nothing is really erupted.
Harvey does it for you as well.
No, I don't think there was any. There was nothing in that. There was a little bit of, I'm going to pull your shirt, you're going to pull mine.
0.
Everybody runs in. It looks worse than what it is.
Well, here we go again then with Tuita Vake. Other than the penalty, Leigh still looking for their first points of this second half. The only try so far coming from that Wakefield Trinity effort from Jaden Myers, but Leigh looking dangerous again, just outside the 10. O'Brien, fast hands through Lamb again to Holton. Hauled to the ground by Mason Lino. Got a hand in the chops for his trouble there. Dwyer back to O'Brien, brings in Mulhern. Mulhern again looking to try and get that ball away, but can't get past Vartili. Here's Dwyer, Lamb can't take that. Really low and dying as it got to Lachlan Lamb, just couldn't get his hands beneath it, and no wonder really.
Yeah, it's a knock-on. Look, I don't think the Leopards will be too bothered about that. Look at where the scrum's going down. It's going down right back in that left-hand corner. Once again, they'll be able to squeeze their defence up. Oh, they're taking it in the middle of the park. But they'll be able to squeeze their defence up and just get together in numbers and start to put pressure on Wakefield again. You know, so many times, Wakefield is scrambling, just trying to hold on. You watch their forwards are taking massive breaths, deep breaths in. Never a good sign. With still 25 minutes to go. And on the other hand, the Leopards aren't. They're still very composed, very structured, playing their style of play.
Well, they might not be coming away from the Wakefield 10-metre area and with any points from their sets, but with such a gap on the scoreboard, like you say, Robbie, it's territory, isn't it, as well? At this stage of the game, we move into the realms of managing the game and keeping Wakefield pinned back. That's as good as you can expect without scoring from Leigh, with such an advantage.
Oh, it certainly is. You know, with Leigh, and when you're defending inside the opposition's half, you can squeeze your numbers in, so you're making more 2-3-man tackles. When you're defending your own line, like Wakefield have had to do a lot tonight, you're making 1- and 2-man tackles. The energy difference there, you're talking at least 30 to 40% energy difference. So, you know, this has become more than a game of attrition. And you know what, the Leigh outside backs have been absolutely superb today as well. Taking so much pressure off their forwards, doing a lot of this hard work. They're very explosive. So when they hit the line, Josh Charnley, when he hits the line, is like a back roll. Keenan Brown's the same. Bailey Hodgson, they're the same. Tessie New, the same. They're just powerful players.
And with that as well, here goes Dwyer from the pass from New. New had taken so many defenders in around him that there was space there for Dwyer once that pass was released. Lamb to O'Brien, centre of the field. Again, it's Hughes. Nice little offload to Hanley, who's got Trout. Can't get away from Truman, who pops up with that. I think Trout potentially looking at the referee saying was there more than one man in that attempt of a tackle. Clearly not, and Truman has the possession back for Wakefield.
Yeah, well, that's an important play for Wakefield there, because they were stretched, their numbers, they ended up with the, the corrugated iron defense. So some players were up, some players were back. That creates space all over the park. Leigh loved that type of space to play in. They needed the ball back. They needed to try and get some purchase. Look, we're running out of time. There's only 21 minutes left in this game. They need to get some more points on the board, get that emotional energy up high, get their fans behind them, and see what they can come up with.
Here we go again for Trinity then, trying to find space down their left with Pratt. Met by Trout. But again, an error from Wakefield Trinity. And this is just the handover on the last, and Pratt made a little bit of a pig's error.
The referee's like a nice clean play, the ball just knocked as he's getting up to play the ball, just spins out of his hands there. There's a catch, one of the Leigh players' boots. Oh, I think it does. I think Trout's toe just catches it, the ball spins out of his hand. Yeah, I mean, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's the responsibility of the guy playing the ball to pick the ball up and then place it back down on the ground. As you can see, he was getting up off the ground, the ball was still on the ground.
Out we come, hold, go,
so,
off that ball, come on!
There's an argument to go against him.
Now.
Moving into the last quarter of this match, it's Leigh at the moment who are looking like the ones who will be progressing through to next week's semi-final. O'Brien brought down, I nearly said moving to within 80 minutes of the final. That's probably a little bit too soon to start saying things like that with 20 minutes still of this eliminators to go. Lena with the tackle as Dwyer takes it from acting half, and Lamb keeps it alive, moving nicely again to Hodgson, who joins the line.
Move now! You're holding in.
Nothing could there really letting him know he's back on the field as the kick is put high, and that isn't taken by Wakefield. It goes loose but dropped on by a blue shirt. And Wakefield Trinity again will have a chance to just take their breath and try and build again.
One of those lucky opportunities when you've not got back on side on time. The ball's actually, I mean, Amila Hanley's done absolutely brilliant there to get up above everyone and promote the ball. You know, again, one of those examples Kev was talking about. The players, Wakefield needing to take their opportunities. You know, create stuff out of nothing.
Well, New taking offence there at that tackle from Mason Lino as Charlie tries to go on the rampage forward. Smith again, the small man hanging on to him as Charlie eventually works his way free as Lino again has a hand in there and struggles to get clear. Now Dwyer running like his life depends on it. Leigh starting to ramp up that pressure again towards their own fans. And here we go through with Tuitavake. He twists, he turns, he scores, and Leigh extend their lead.
That is an absolute try of energy, that. I mean, Wakefield was so tired they were willing to give away another set of 6. You know, Mason Lino could see that his players weren't getting back on side there. He was holding on to the ball, waiting for all the defenders to get back there because, look, they hadn't held on to the ball. They had the ball for 3 tackles, kicked the ball out wide, giving Leigh back the opportunity, back in position to attack the line once again. They're scrambling. You know, they are trying their hand, but it's becoming too much. Brilliant work by the 2 big boys there. Big Joe off in Galway. Little tip on there. He's got his big man next to him. Alec Tuitavake. Boom. Nothing better than the boys getting together and creating tries. I don't know who's going to be claiming that try. Tuitavake or off in Galway.
Well, it's been a night for the big men, those 2 combining, and earlier Isaac Liu scoring in the first half. I don't know where the backs are, but the forwards are pulling the weight.
They've done a great job, haven't they? It's been an all-round, you know what I love about Leigh tonight? Absolutely no panic. Everybody knows their position. Even when they put up their kick, and Milo Hanley come up, they had so many numbers there. Because if they hadn't got the ball, they would have started the set 2 meters once again off Wakefield's line. I mean, it's been a tough night at the, ball for Wakefield. They've come up against a team that's just hit their peak. Leigh are in the right vein of form. You know, they were showing signs of it coming into the playoffs. The playoffs are all about being in the right mindset when you're coming into it. It's not about being the best team all year long. It's about being the best team at the right time. You've got to peak for this. And Leigh look absolutely hot. Everybody's playing their position. Nobody's out of position. Nobody's panicking. Everybody, even when they do, and they've done it only a few times, done something wrong, there's been no one blowing up. They've all got on each other's side. They've been fine.
Well, an incident placed on report there by referee Liam Moore between Mason Lino and Gareth O'Brien. The conversion obviously successful from O'Brien, the 22-point lead now to Leigh Leopards. And we just saw Darryl Powell in the crowd, just an absolute look of resignation really on his face. He knows that his side season will end here tonight, as that's a beautiful take from Trout. He's tall, is the forward, and he made his height count, and Leigh get that possession and in a handy position on the pitch as well.
Like a leaping gazelle he was then. He had eyes for nothing other than that ball. But above everyone, he is a big man and great catch. And look, what does that do? That invites the Leopards back into Wakefield's half once again to start an attacking set.
Dwyer had the runner of Mulhern, elected to just tuck it under the wing and take it himself. And again we see movement from the forwards in the centre of the field as O'Brien is the man who takes the possession eventually and takes the tackle from Kai Svartili. On the last of the sets, Lamb with the high kick. Underneath it is Rook, who takes it, gets around the first attempt of a tackle, can't get beyond the second, and again we see Wakefield having to start pretty near their own line.
Yeah, look, they've got it so well rehearsed. All the players know what's going on. They're going to put the ball high. They're going to bring the ball down only a couple of metres off the Wakefield line, and we just need numbers there. When we get numbers there, we'll be able to squeeze our defensive line up. We'll be able to get purchase, get forward, and hopefully make Wakefield push passes, take chances, and get the ball back once we're in position. And you know what? That's what they've done all night long.
Nice passage here from Wakefield, keeping the ball alive, and Pitts eventually taking the tackle just short of the halfway line, and now it's McMeekin, centre of the field with Truman, keeps it moving alive back, and Wakefield have half a gap with Rourke, who can't get the pass to Griffin, It comes off a Leigh hand, goes in the right direction though for the Leopards. And I think at the bottom of that pile, it's Hanley who will get to his feet to play the ball.
And that shows you attitude. You know, when the opposition make a half break on you, you're getting numbers back. And if you just watch here, this is the forward Trout. He's doing the hard yards. He's getting back there and, you know, disrupting the play, getting the ball back for his team. That's what it means to these players. Everybody's played their part tonight.
Don't forget, there's quite a big weekend of golf with the Ryder Cup. You can see highlights of that this evening, tonight, midnight on BBC Two. And the Women's Rugby Union World Cup final is tomorrow. Canada against England from 3 o'clock on BBC One. And then it's Sunday night baseball for you. The Los Angeles Dodgers are taking on the Seattle Mariners. That's on Sunday evening from 8 o'clock, and you can see that on the iPlayer. So Wakefield have the ball again, but again deep in their own half, and also in that same corner as well. As Leigh's tactics have put Wakefield's right edge under so much pressure tonight.
And you know what, a great sign for Adrian Lamb is the attitude. You've gone 65 minutes, 66 minutes, and their forward pack is still getting forward. They're still trying to dominate. They're still trying to keep players high, drive Wakefield back. That's an attitude thing. You know, they're winning the game 26 points to 4. You would think some teams, and we've seen it before in the past, they stick the cue in the rack. Oh, we've done enough for tonight. But no, attitude, keep it sharp, keep the opposition on the front, on the back foot, and that's what they've done all night long. They've not wavered from their plan, and that's so pleasing for a head coach.
Well, Mason Leno's kick taken safely by Bailey Hodgson, and just thinking of Mason Leno as Leigh try and build that attack again down the centre of the field with Amila Hanley, who almost manages to get around the outside of the defence. Mason Leno's kicking game has been so good at times this season. He's not really been able to get the kicks away tonight in the way that we've seen him in previous matches in recent weeks. And again, that's down to Leigh and how they've managed to just smother the attack from Wakefield Trinity. So Mulhern is held in the tackle, offloads to Liu. Truman is in there along with Hood and Smith for Wakefield Trinity. Dwyer. O'Brien with the kick long, and that will bounce in the field of play to allow Roke to collect it, but a good chase from Robbie Mulhern, and the tackle is made, and again we see Wakefield start from their own 10.
They're really smart kick there. You see, he just dinks it over the top of the defense, just behind the wing, and the ball hits the ground 3 or 4 times. Now, every time the ball hits the ground, the defensive players are chewing up 5 yards. That means that all the fullback can see, Rourke, all he can see is this line of red coming at him. And, you know, he picks the ball up and he can only get a couple of metres before the defence is set again. The rest of the defenders come in behind, ready for that next play. And look, it's a third, fourth tackle, and they're only on just over the 20-metre line. They've done this all night. They've stuck to their guns, they've stuck to their plan, and they've done it all night.
Here's Leno again, trying to take the line on before offloading to Roke, who joins the line, gets the pass away, but the tackle is there on Cam Scott. Myers sends the ball back inside to Truman, who has to just lift his head, see what's in front of him, then drills the kick. Oh, well taken there by Hodgson.
That was fantastic. Tiptoeing along the line. Look, been really impressed with Bailey Hodgson this season. He's so strong at the back. He's a live wire. He loves getting his hands on the ball, and that's what you want with a fullback. Someone who charge early, get forward, but actually he's got the skill to come up with special plays like that. That was, for all minds, was going to look like a 40-20, sorry. Turn your team around, the opposition, but you save it. And that means such a big thing to your forward pack. Guys that have just made 5 tackles in the middle of the park, done it tough, and not having to trundle back and make another 5. Massive when your teammates do that for you.
So here's Frankie Holton for Leigh Leopards. The progress that both these sides have made in different ways. Leigh finishing 3rd in the table, their highest ever finish in Super League. They finished 5th in the last 2 seasons, got to the semi-final last year, was beaten by Wigan, quite a heavy defeat beaten by Wigan last year, but obviously progress this year, finishing third. As you mentioned earlier, Robbie, Wakefield were in the Championship last year, going on and winning the Grand Final to return to Super League. They'll be stronger again next year. They're carrying on that building process. Both clubs will continue to develop, just at different stages at the moment, and I think it's played out, hasn't it, really, tonight, as to where these two are. It's been evident on the pitch.
Oh, certainly, and Mike McMeekin said in the interview before the game, you know, the Leopards are like the blueprint. That's exactly the direction they want to be heading in. You know, not just off-field success, setting a great atmosphere for game days and building your club, but equally from a team perspective, being able to build on the core essence of what you've got and getting stronger.
Oh, and here's Scott with the breakthrough. He's got one man to beat, gets around the last man, and Cam Scott slides in. That's what Wakefield Trinity are capable of. Cam Scott shows his way through, and Wakefield Trinity get more points on the board.
Oh, he's an absolute specimen, is Cam Scott. An absolute, look, he's got muscles growing on muscles, that guy. What a great try. The lead up was great. Look, once again, just creating space. They're having to throw caution to the wind. Back passes. Once you get into, you know, exceptional athletes, great footwork, great power, great speed, great finish. 10 minutes to go. Sharon, enough time? Is there enough time?
Lino's got the kick. It's 28 points to 10. Just see the kick here, straight and true, that one, right in front of the post for him. You've got to look at the clock and go 9 minutes to go, 26 points to 10. No, I think Wakefield have given what they can, and Leigh have been the better side and will go on to win this now. I think I feel silly saying anything else. However, it would be nice. Yeah, you have seen it, and it would be nice if Wakefield got more points on the board just at the end of a season where they really have impressed in Super League.
Yeah, from Leigh's point of view, it's about momentum. It's about setting your standard out. Look, they've been really consistent over the past, 70 minutes. Everything they've done, they're stuck to their structure. Look, one player getting out of line there, just coming back, Cam Scott coming back against the grain of the defence. A couple of lazy players just in the middle of the park, creating a little bit more space. He goes through. It's a tough place to be for, you know, for the Leigh Leopards fullback Bailey Hodgson. But they need to just step up now, because, you know, they'll be going to Wigan next. And it's about momentum. It's what you can take into that game. And this has got to be in their mindset. So we've got to finish this game strong, continue on with the momentum, finish on a high, get some more points on the board. You know, go into the finish off this 80 minutes with elation. No more, you know, I can promise you now, they'll be desperate to stop Wakefield from putting any more points on the board.
Yeah, we've not really seen the best of Wakefield tonight, but that is absolutely credit to the Leigh Leopards, who came out and were on top form, it felt, really from the first minute, and they've not really let their standards slip too much as this game's gone on, and that takes some doing, so credit to the Leopards for this evening.
Yeah, it certainly is, and there you go again, the Leopards just holding their line, you know, strong. Tilly just coming up with a play there, just overrunning the pass. I think he thought the ball was going to go behind him, just taking his eye off the ball a little bit. The ball hit him in the shoulder, you know, but once again it invites Leigh to have the opportunity to finish this game in the way they want to. Look, even if they don't score the points you watch, they'll want to put the ball in the corner, finish strong again, do exactly what's put them in the position to be dominant in this game, and they've been so dominant.
Here's Hanley, brought down by Griffin, and it's Davies who takes his place at acting half.
Leigh won't be happy with just winning this game and bowing out in the next game. Now, Adrian Land has the mentality. He's a winner. He knows how to get success. He'll be creating an environment where they'll be going into the next game with so much confidence, because it builds off the back of everything that they do.
The ball picked up then, given to Hodgson, tries to find a way around the outside of the defence again. Myers doesn't let him, so Tessie New takes it from acting half, and here's Offa Hengawe. Back towards the centre of the field, it comes to O'Brien, who kicks back towards the corner. Oh, flying leap there from Charnley. The ball's going to ground. And Tessie New and Josh Charnley, I think both fancied their chances there, as that was patted back by Charnley, and New just couldn't take it cleanly.
No, but again, I don't think they're going to be unhappy. They're starting the defensive set on the 10-metre line in their corner once again. They squeeze their line up, they can get through in numbers. Look, Wakefield players are walking, they're tired. It's been a long night at the office for them. They've got Leigh players still hungry and swarming all over them.
Bartili gets to his feet. The ball is played again to Smith. Still no way through for Wakefield. Still Leigh tackling strongly. And it's Johnston who has to play the ball to Smith, who, slight of stature relatively, trying to duck his way through all the arms that are swinging, and a bit of cramp there kicking in. And Johnston having to take the role of physio. Smith wisely, I think, gets to his feet there to avoid any issues with green cards, and play goes on.
Yeah, I think he's got a little bit of cramp. Look, you got to understand, the Leigh Sports Village have an amazing, absolutely amazing ground staff. This ground is as good as, if not better than most Premier League football clubs. And because of that, the playing surface does things that your body's not used to. So you'll find a lot of players getting cramped on this ground.
Oh, what a handoff from Tessie New there. Oh, wonderful stuff from the centre. Looked to have another go as well, and looked for the support of Lamb, but Pitts wouldn't let him get that ball away. But great play from the Leigh Leopards centre. Holton. Leigh just taking it steady. They've no need to try and do anything too flashy, too fancy. Looking for more points, yes, but not having to force things at all. With 16 points advantage on the scoreboard and 4 minutes left on the clock, they know they're through to the semi-final as New tries to step around and through again that Wakefield Trinity defence.
Tessie New, it's like having a front rower with speed out on your edge. So many times, not just speed, you've got to sidestep as well. Look, they'll do it again. The ball goes up in the air, numbers in.
And Rourke.
That's a long night at the office for Rourke. He's had to field that catch all night long. 4 or 5 players on him every single time. Look, they're still charging up as well. So hungry. That's what's pleasing for Adrian Lamb. When you've got 76 minutes into the game and your players, the defensive line is sped up, they've got together in numbers, they're driving players back, that contact, the yardage after contact once again. Another player gone with cramp. Trout this time, one of the home players.
And just looking at the tackle count being eaten up and where Wakefield are. And so Truman goes for the chip over the top, and that, rampaging through is Josh Griffin.
You know, we said low percentage play, but sometimes the percentage comes in.
Rolling back the years there, Josh Griffin as well. This is on the last of the set, and Truman works the ball through the centre of the field nicely, and they keep it alive to Wakefield Trinity, but can't do it cleanly enough. And it goes to ground, and I think we all read the words there coming from the lips of Darryl Powell on that occasion. Oh my goodness me, I think is what he said.
More than lips, it was the eyes. You could see it in the eyes. That's, you know, it's frustrating for a head coach when you know your players can offer so much more. But look, you spoke about it before, Sharon. What a season. You know, from the championship 12 months ago. Oh.
More cramp, it's contagious.
These guys need sodium pills. I mean, it's a simple thing. Half a sodium pill, chewing on it, a chewable sodium pill. It does the trick.
Thank you, Dr. Robbie.
I'm not a doctor. Don't take my advice at home, please. Just my caveat.
Well, Adrian Lamb still looking quite serious, despite the position that he finds his side in tonight. Heading into next week's semi-final, where they will be facing the Wigan Warriors for a place at Old Trafford.
I wonder if Gaz O'Brien will go for a cheeky little one-pointer.
You wouldn't rule it out, would you? With his record of drop goals as well, even though it's not necessary at the moment, you still wouldn't rule it out to absolutely put icing on the cake tonight for the Leigh Leopards. So Mason Leno collects the ball, He was limping in the first half, managed the full 80, seems to have been running a little freer in the second half, and that went forward, surely went forward as picked up by Cam Scott. And the referee brings play back.
I'm going to say this now, don't be surprised if the Leopards don't score. You know, you've got 5,000 fans down that end of the field. They're all screaming for the Leopards just to finish it off in style. They'd love nothing more, nothing better.
So heading into the final 30 seconds of the game, the final 30 seconds of the season for Wakefield Trinity, the final 30 seconds for some of the Wakefield Trinity players wearing that red, white and blue shirt. But tonight it is really all about Leigh Leopards, who progressed through to the semi-final of the Super League playoffs for the second consecutive season. And it's been a wonderful performance from Adrian Lamb's side as well.
One pointer.
The ball goes back. It goes to O'Brien, and there he goes, launches the ball, goes for the drop goal. Has he got it? That wasn't cleared by the referee. Well, the hoot has gone, and the referee just halting time, and that is it. The drop goal missed, and it's finished Leigh 26, Wakefield Trinity 10, and it is Leigh who continue their fine form from the league into the playoffs, Robbie.
Adrian Lamb looking really happy, and so he should be. His team was consistent, his team were patient. They had a structure to play to tonight. They stuck to it from minute 1 all the way through to minute 80. They didn't overplay, they didn't panic at all throughout this entire 80 minutes. They left all the panicking to go up go to Wakefield. Wakefield, what a season they've had. They come from the championship last year. They were written off from the beginning of the season. You know what? They've done themselves proud. But absolutely all plaudits have to go to the Leopards tonight. Absolutely brilliant performance. Hats off to them. What a game, what a team.
So on to Wigan next week for the Leigh Leopards after a comprehensive win tonight here against Wakefield Trinity by 26 points to 10.
Well, that was a very impressive performance from Leigh, and that victory means that they will make the short trip to Wigan for the semi-finals, and Hull KR will play the winners of Leeds against St Helens. Kevin Brown, Ryan Briley, that was pretty impressive, wasn't it, Kevin?
Yeah, it's everything we've expected over the season from Leigh. I thought they were clinical in the first half, and they just found a way to defend the way to victory in the second half. There's a couple of blemishes. I think the Cam Scott try will be disappointing for Adrian Lamb, but I thought Lachlan Lamb, I thought the pack was sensational today, and just too good for Wakefield on the night.
I just think, for me, I don't think Leigh had to do a great deal, if I'm honest. I thought Wakefield were poor. I think Darryl Powell will be furious, to be honest. It's probably the worst they've played all year, isn't it, Kev? I thought they'd probably turn up tonight and not put a performance on they would be proud of. I think that would be the biggest bugbear for Darryl Powell, is that they've turned up to a big night and just not played how they would ever want to. I thought their execution was really poor at times. And Leigh, what they had to do, they were professional, they were clinical. I don't really think Leigh got out of second gear, if I'm honest.
Yeah, well, I think Leigh were very good in the first half.
Yeah, I was going to ask, you're hammering Wakefield, but was that actually Leigh just not never letting them get into the game?
Yeah, and I also think that it was a masterstroke how they defended the shape. They put them under pressure. How many times did we see Mason Leno, Jake Truman, Pitts go to the line and put the ball on the floor? We've not seen that all year. They put them under pressure, and sometimes when you're a very good attacking side yourself, you know what to expect when you're getting good shapes thrown at you. We've seen that Wakefield have pulled sides apart, but I thought Lachlan Lamb and his teammates today not only played well with the ball, I thought they were fantastic when they had to do the other side of it as well.
And that was excellent timing, because Lachlan Lamb has joined us. I hope your ears have been burning, because they've been singing your praises. That was a very good performance from your side today.
Yeah, it was good. I think the game was won in the first half. The boys turned up and were real physical, and they stuck it to them real early, and we got a pretty big buffer there, and we just had to hold on the back of that.
Had you talked about your own role as you build up to this back end of the season and leading the team?
Talk about it?
Have you been talking about it?
Not me personally. We got a lot of experience, and Isaac Liu there, who spent 200 plus games in the NRL, and Joe Offa and Gowie, the likes of those boys coming in this year really helped, and they've also they've led from the front, which has made my job easy.
Lachlan, first of all, congrats on your birthday, baby daughter. I think it's a special achievement from you. I think for me, watching you evolve throughout the season has been pretty special. I think you've become very left side dominant in recent years, but I've seen you probably swing a lot of the time on the right hand side of the field. Is that something you spoke about pre-season, probably having to replace a lot of the threat losing from John and probably taking that responsibility on yourself?
Yeah, I think just the way that Yamila's played this year and Keenan Brand and Gaz has been unreal as well. So it's made my job easy. So we can set up if they overload our side, we can get round there, and those boys are killing it at the moment. So they make my job easy. I just pass it to them, and Yamila's been scoring tries for fun at the moment. So it makes me look good by just giving him the ball sometimes.
How good is it having someone like Bailey Hodgson at the back, bringing it back, because he's a bundle of energy, isn't it? Not only a ball player when in your spine, but when he brings the ball back, he brings the pack into the game as well.
He's a tough kid, Bailey, as well. He's very fit and strong. He doesn't look like there's a whole heap of him, but he's brave, and he does the most metres per game every single game for us, and he carries the ball 30 plus times, and I think he was near enough the top metre maker in the Super League, and he only played half the season at fullback. So it just goes to show how much effort he puts in and work rate he's got there. But his game's building at the moment too, with his little. He's got trick plays coming into his game now. He's turning up on both sides on inside, outside balls, all sorts of stuff. So it's exciting to see where he'll get to.
So it is Wigan next for you again. Repeat of last year. What do you have to do to get past them this time around?
Something different to last year, I guess. It wasn't our best showing. It was. We weren't happy with it. We fought really hard to get to the finals last year, and we give that performance up to finish. So it's just you've got to take what we started with in this first half here and just do it for 80 minutes. They're a world-class team, and you can't be off for any bit of that game there.
Lockie, will you get a lot of confidence out of going there round one and beating them 1-0?
Yeah, I think so. We've earned the right to go there and feel like we can win as well. But we're under no illusions, mate. The task that's ahead, it's they haven't won the comp back-to-back for no reason, mate. They're doing something right, and we've got to go there and we've got to take it to them.
But for me, Lockie, I think you were very unlucky to miss out on the dream team. For me, I think you're the best scrum half in the competition. What's your ambition? Because I always think about you playing in NRL. I think you're top level scrum half. I want to know what's inside your head and going forward. What do you want to achieve?
I don't know. At the moment, I'm just enjoying my footy. Obviously my dad's the coach here, and we got really good friends. My partner's got really good friends, and I enjoy it over here at the moment. So. It's a tough one. Obviously, if the right opportunity in the NRL come, close to where our family live or something like that, we're not going back for no reason. So we want to be over here and enjoy our footy. And then if an opportunity comes up that makes sense to me and my family, then that may be the way we go. But at the moment, we're really enjoying ourselves here.
Fair to say, though, you want to make a few more memories with your dad here?
Yeah, it's special. I get made a joke of all the time from the boys with it, but. At the end of the day, when you think about it, some of the stuff we're doing, and just it's a blessing to be able to do that. Like, not many people get to say they can play under their dad and at a high level. And we come in every day, we joke, the boys make fun of me, and we have fun doing it. So I don't take it for granted. We really enjoy it here, and I'm sure he loves having me around too.
Lachlan, many congratulations on your will. Go well next week. Thanks ever so much for joining us. Take care. I'll say that up here. He was very good, wasn't he?
He's some player, and for me, I just think he's got that composure when he goes to the line. He's got the patience, he's got the vision, hasn't he, as well? When he's kicking the ball, he's kicked a couple of 40-20s, he kicked one today. I thought he was sensational, but defensively as well, Tanya, he knows how to get in front. You just see when he changes his line, there's nothing. So this is what we said before the game. He's got the perfect balance of, if it's broken open, he can play off the cuff, but he's very good at the structure play too. That was completely unbroken play. That was just instinct. And when they run away, he jumps out the back of the dummy half there. He sees the fullbacks in the middle of the field, and he just picks a real easy 40-20. Ryan was going, what's the fullback doing there? But there's kickers on both sides. Real difficult that skill, Ryan.
Yeah, definitely, and especially when he comes into dummy half, because again, he's a left-footed kicker, so you're almost wary of both sides of the field. I think for Lachlan, probably his development over recent years is that I always kind of defended him as a left-sided threat and purely left-sided, and probably wouldn't run the ball as much. But now he's got every tool. I remember you saying, Kevin, he can do it all. He can run, he can pass, he double pumps, he defends well, he kicks. So what hasn't he not got? Do you know what I mean? And that's so difficult for it. Normally every halfback has got one really good thing he's got numerous.
I love his character, just the way he's composed. He doesn't seem to get flustered. He plays with pace, but I just love the way he plays on his terms, and he looks like he's got a lot of time. And the players who look like they've got a lot of time, they're the best players.
Well, how do you preview him, Kev? Like, I think Matty Peter will be sat at home thinking, how do we stop Lachlan Lamb? Because everyone says it, don't they, every week? How do we stop Lachlan Lamb? And no one's figured it out yet, because he plays such an off-tempo style where he doesn't play at the same rhythm as his teammates or the rhythm of opposition. You can't really plan for him, so it's almost defending the best threat next to him, isn't it? Because you can't defend him on your own. So I think Wigan have got a real challenge with him. I think he's come up with the goods a lot of the time against Wigan. I think Leigh have a right to be confident in going there, if I'm honest. I think there'll be probably one team Wigan a little bit nervous around. Next week's a bit of a cracker, eh?
It's going to be fascinating. It strikes me that Leigh seem a more confident team this year. Are they confident enough, though, to believe they can beat Wigan in a semi-final and get to a grand final?
Well, they've earned the right to think they can go there and win. Will they go there and win? You know, Wigan are a much tougher test, in my opinion, than Wakefield away. Going to Wigan, who have, you know, they're predominantly very good at this time of year. You know, we talk about Bev and French, but all their players are winners, aren't they? Matty Pete's a winner, Chris Radlinski's a winner, so they're going into the sort of lion's den. But what I would say is, on the back of tonight, they've got the firepower to challenge Wigan. You know, they need a bounce of a ball here and there, but they've already been there this year and done that. They won 1-0 on the opening night of the season. They'll be looking to replicate that, but I can't wait already. It's going to be a classic, and the big brother versus the little bus stop in Wigan, it'll be a very good story tale.
You can guarantee the atmosphere will be absolutely cracking, won't it? Kevin, Ryan, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Kevin will be back with us next week. It's been quite a night here. We've had Smoke, we've had Elvis, we've had Bubbles. But Leigh are through to the semi-finals. From all of us, goodbye.